A big bolt of lightning just hit a pole right in front of a young man, making a loud crackling sound. The lightning spread across the sky, creating a bright flash that lit up the rainy street. The young man remembered his tough life with no money or special skills. But then he suddenly felt a strange feeling, like today was somehow the luckiest day he had ever lived. He fell to the ground, and people rushed over, worried, asking if he was okay and calling for an ambulance. He thought about how strange it was, feeling lucky even in this moment. Meanwhile, in a different world, people were talking in a chat, wishing they could get special items from a big monster fight happening right now. A massive two-headed dragon roared, while the chat mentioned that some people in the world are just super lucky. Just then, a beautiful angel-like figure, Nike, the goddess of victory, appeared with her huge wings. Nike used her divine punishment skill, striking one of the dragon's heads with a huge blue energy blast, shocking everyone watching the live stream. More powerful attacks rained down on the dragon, with players wondering if a guild master named Merlin was getting ready for the final hit. Another hero stood ready, while Merlin, looking calm, prepared a powerful spell. Back in the real world, the young man, Hyun-woo, sat in a gaming chair, looking very tired. He was on the phone, upset about the low payment of $300 a day for a dangerous game raid, especially when there was only a 30% chance of surviving. The person on the phone told him he didn't have to do it, as others would, but Hyun-woo just wanted a fair price for the risk. He argued that a broker couldn't do much if the guild wouldn't pay more, but the person on the other end hung up on him, leaving him frustrated. Just then, a friend walked in, asking if things weren't going well, and Hyun-woo apologized for being so loud. Hyun-woo then shared his thought that the world is always ruled by three types of people. First, those with natural talent. Second, those with a lot of money, and finally, those who are incredibly lucky, as a different dragon in the game spewed green fire. More players appeared on screen, attacking the dragon with glowing red energy blasts, while viewers in the chat wondered when the stream started and if it was a new dungeon raid. A magic staff glowed with bright blue energy, ready to unleash a powerful spell against the dragon, which looked very scary. Huge fireballs exploded against the dragon as players in the chat were amazed by the skill combo and wondered when the main character, Lee Seol, would show up. Suddenly, Lee Seol appeared on a distant ledge, causing a flurry of excited comments in the chat. Lee Seol gracefully held her hand out, activating a special ability called Roulette of the Gods. She stood high above the battlefield, surrounded by glowing cards, preparing to use a random skill. Players in the chat were speculating what skill would come out, some hoping for Nike, the goddess of victory, to appear and give them good luck. Back in Hyun-woo's world, he put down his phone, thanking the person he was talking to and wishing them good luck with leveling up in the game. His friend asked if he really thought he could still make it in the game when others had already taken over, and Hyun-woo admitted his friend was right. Hyun-woo sighed, regretting that he had spent all his money 5 years ago on a mage character, calling it a waste. He promised himself he would never do that again, realizing he only had one option left. That option was to protect his precious family, showing a picture of a happy little girl in a wheelchair. His friend then asked him what he was looking at so seriously. Hyun-woo replied that he was reading a fantasy novel, as a character in the novel used a magic circle to summon something. Viewers in the novel's world chat cheered for Merlin, saying he was cool and wondering about his new skill. The novel's character, Merlin, announced that he had summoned a flame dragon. The summoned flame dragon unleashed a powerful beam of fire, destroying everything in its path. The dragon's attack left a trail of immense destruction. Hyun-woo sadly thought that he would have to work hard all month to make up for his financial struggles as he walked into a break room. His friend wished he could participate in a raid like that just once, pointing out that very few of the 1.8 billion players actually made a living from game raids. Hyun-woo's friend tried to comfort him, saying he wasn't untalented, even though Hyun-woo seemed to think he was. Hyun-woo pondered the word talent, noting that in the game God Wars, there was no auto-targeting system, making it harder for some. He realized that his past as an ex-baseball pitcher, despite his injury, actually gave him an advantage in this game because of the manual aiming. He had once been a well-known pitcher, but an injury forced him to retire, a story his friend probably didn't know. Hyun-woo then scoffed, talking about how annoying even a little bit of talent could be, and explained the fantasy novel he was reading. The novel was about a hero who dies from betrayal, then goes back in time to get revenge. Hyun-woo found it a weird story. Hyun-woo simply said he'd just get wet, watching the rain fall into his hand. He watched his friend walk away in the rain, then thought about the novel's idea of going back in time just for revenge. He joked that if he could travel back in time, he wouldn't waste it on revenge. he would just buy stocks to get rich. Suddenly, a truck sped towards him, making him look up in surprise. His eyes went wide as the truck quickly approached. There was a loud crash as the truck slammed into a pole, narrowly missing Hyunwoo. Hyunwoo sat on the wet ground, stunned, realizing how close he came to being hit. People rushed over, worried, asking if he was okay. He realized a truck had crashed into a pole, but he was safe. He felt a shiver, realizing he almost returned, which made him wonder about his life again as someone called 911. He asked himself if he was unlucky or super lucky to have missed getting hurt in the crash. A small smile appeared on his face as he thought about his strange luck, then his mind shifted back to the game. Back in the game, the raid was still going on, and viewers in the chat were celebrating that the Abyss Guild had actually won and finished the dungeon the fastest. More chat comments showed people excited about the victory, asking about item drops after the twin-headed dragon Lord of the Labyrinth was defeated. People in the chat cheered for Elysial and the Abyss Guild, asking if there would be a second part to the stream. Players celebrated their victory, some wondering about Elysial's cool gear, while others just said it was a fun raid. The stream concluded with a replay of the Abyss Guild twin-headed dragon raid, while Hyunwoo sat in his gaming chair, staring intently at the screen. The character, Young Hyunwoo, felt like everything was over, even after putting all his money into building this game character. Lying in a hospital bed, Hyunwoo felt a familiar sadness, thinking how everything was over, just like a tough time he faced before with his family. But Hyunwoo suddenly got determined. He decided he couldn't just give up like that. He realized quitting the game God Wars was not an option for him, even if it meant giving up his dream to be a high-ranked player and just being a simple miner. He knew if he worked hard, he could at least make enough money to live. Hyunwoo had a family to protect, so he had to find a way. Suddenly, in the game, he saw a card that said ArchMage and wondered if he was imagining things. To his surprise, a game message popped up saying the War Dragon accepted him and he had gotten the rare ArchMage class. His game character, Midas, was now a level 1 ArchMage with a legendary rank, meaning he could learn all magic. Hyunwoo was totally shocked. He knew the ArchMage class was super rare. Even the third-ranked player, Asmo, spent huge money to get it. Hyunwoo couldn't believe he got it for free. Meanwhile, other players were complaining about getting the warrior class again, saying legendary classes like ArchMage were only for super rich players. Hyunwoo, looking at his small amount of money, found it hard to believe his luck. If this was real, he thought, he wouldn't have to mine anymore. He felt a huge wave of excitement and relief. Back in the real world, he tried to log into something but his home device kept saying his fingerprint was not registered. He got annoyed, blaming his cheap rental apartment and vowing to move once he had money. Just then, his niece Hyrin, a sweet little girl, welcomed him home, surprised to see him. Hyunwoo hugged Hyrin, asking if she was good, and she happily told him she hadn't caused any trouble, then asked about her dad. He saw his brother, Yoon Taewoo, in a wheelchair. Hyunwoo asked if something was wrong because he heard his brother went to the hospital, but Taewoo said it was nothing, just a small trip. Hyunwoo wasn't convinced and asked if Taewoo was truly okay, which Taewoo confirmed. Then, Hyunwoo pointed to the faulty home security device, saying it wasn't recognizing him. Taewoo suggested getting a lawyer, but Hyunwoo was shocked at the cost, arguing he just needed to log in. His frustration grew when his call to God Wars customer support ended. He thought about how biometric data is super secure because it's unique to each person and can't be faked, which made him even more confused why his wasn't working. Hyunwoo wondered what could be the reason for his login issue since it was working perfectly just yesterday. Then it hit him, yesterday he was electrocuted. Could that be the reason for the problem? He felt terrible, thinking of his bad luck and how he couldn't log in right at the moment he got the ArchMage class. He looked at his broken shoe, thinking how unlucky he was with all these problems. He remembered escaping a truck only to get shocked by a pole, forcing him to spend money he couldn't spare when he was already broke. At least he wasn't badly hurt, he thought, hoping his brother and Hyrin were fine. He tried the home security device one more time, but the device still flashed unregistered biometric data, leaving him completely puzzled. He asked Taewoo if the old machine was broken, but Taewoo explained that the home security device used the exact same biometric system as the God Wars game capsules. Hyunwoo was totally shocked to hear that his old home security device used the same login system as the fancy God Wars capsules. He immediately jumped up and rushed out the door, telling Taewoo he needed to go to a capsule cafe right away, leaving his brother wondering what was happening. At the capsule cafe, Hyunwoo argued that he had entered all his information correctly and couldn't understand why he was banned from logging in just because his biometric data didn't match. When he heard about a possible hacking attempt, Hyunwoo insisted it was really him. He then asked his friend, Hyukju, to set up another game capsule for him so he could try again. Glad he still had a character creation card, Hyunwoo got into the capsule, thinking he never expected to go through character creation again. The game asked if he would join the war between gods, and he said yes, though he felt God Wars wasn't much better than the real world. He named his character Midas and used his character card, knowing it usually cost $880 just to create a character in this expensive game. He realized all items in this game were super pricey, simply because so many players wanted an easy life in the virtual world, even if it meant spending a lot of real money. He mentally said goodbye to his $880 and wished it was easy to get a good class to sell items. The game then prompted him to choose a god to worship. Hyunwoo complained that the game was like a lottery right from the first class selection, making it almost impossible to choose your path easily. He remembered all the money he'd spent just to become a mage earlier. He decided that to succeed in this game, you either had to be super rich or incredibly lucky. He felt like he had done so much of this gacha that he could already see the trash cards. He wondered why his class even mattered if his plan was just to mine. But then, to his utter surprise, the ArchMage card appeared before him once more. God Wars, a highly anticipated virtual reality game meaning war between the gods, was released in 2034. Within a few years, it completely changed sports, entertainment, and culture, gathering a massive 1.8 billion players worldwide. Now, playing God Wars wasn't just for fun, it had become a real way for many people to earn a living. Back in the real world, Hyunwoo slowly woke up, feeling disoriented and wondering where he was. A nurse informed him he had only a brush burn and could leave after paying the hospital bill, which shocked Hyunwoo. One person tells another to go back inside and to keep a secret, asking him not to tell anyone. The person getting the instruction looks sad and says sorry to Hyukju. The main character thinks he cannot let anyone know his secret, especially the game developers, because they would never leave him alone. He also fears getting bothered by greedy people if they found out about his special ability. He believes this new power came after an accident yesterday, but he sees it as a huge chance to escape his poor life. He decides to use this ability well, all for his brother and Hyrin. He quickly enters the game, determined to make things better for his family. He arrives in the town of beginning within the game and immediately starts moving, ready for whatever comes next. A bright red circle appears around him, signaling danger, and he quickly moves to avoid it. The red circle means a monster has marked him as an attack target, and a massive orc charges at him aggressively. He skillfully dodges the orc's attack, realizing that all the things he spent 5 years memorizing about fighting orcs are now helping him a lot. He sees a timer counting down, showing that he needs to survive for more than 71 minutes to get the tutorial master title, a rare achievement in a game where good classes are hard to come by. He knows that secret game information is very valuable, and he desperately hopes this amazing discovery isn't just a dream as he officially starts the tutorial. Other new players around him are shocked and scared by the strong monsters, wondering how they are supposed to defeat such powerful creatures. He calmly explains to them that these monsters are not meant to be defeated at level 1 and surviving for 71 minutes will be very difficult, but he notices a green indicator on one of the orcs. He is stunned to see the indicator turn red again and realizes he just got the tutorial master title, which rewarded him with a special rune that boosts all his stats by 10. He also confirms that the ArchMage class he got was real. Back in the real world, he takes deep breaths to calm his racing heart because the game almost logged him out automatically for too much excitement. His brother asks why he is sighing so much, wondering if something happened in the game. He tells his brother he feels weird about starting over from the beginning, which is not completely untrue given his new hidden class. His brother teases him, asking why he would start fresh when he had such a strong mage character, joking that it's not like his account got suspended. His brother quickly apologizes, realizing he might have actually hit a nerve, thinking he really did get his account suspended. He now fully understands the tutorial master title and its hidden quest reward, surviving for more than 71 minutes to get a rune with plus 10 to all stats, a secret that no one else seemed to know. He is completely shocked that this tutorial reward gives him 10 stat points, which is like gaining 2 full levels just by completing it, considering players usually only get 5 points per level up. Other players in the tutorial think he's upset because his game account might have been banned, but he knows he has found a big secret in the game that no one has discovered in 5 years, making the odd 71-minute condition make sense. He understands that if this hidden information is true, then his legendary ArchMage class was not a mistake. He quickly decides to record everything to prove it. With his 5 years of game experience, knowing how to check monster status and aggro indicators, he finds it easy to run away from monsters. He also sees that no one else knows about this hidden info, and his recording is going smoothly. He feels very confident, knowing he has just 1 hour left to achieve the tutorial master title, and he is determined to get it. 1 hour later, back in the real world, he lets out a big sigh, looking exhausted but also relieved. He checks his game pie, realizing excitedly that it wasn't a dream. He then smiles widely, happy to see an option to play back the video. He shouts hallelujah in pure joy, watching the replay of his successful tutorial completion, with the timer showing 0. He explains that he actually died shortly after getting the title because a bunch of orcs attacked him, but it didn't matter since most players just tried to die quickly in the tutorial to get to the main game. He remembers running from many orcs, impressed by how real and accurate the game's system felt. He can now see important details like a monster's level, health, and even what items they might drop directly on their status window. He also figured out how the aggro indicator works, seeing it change from green to red when a monster is about to attack him. He understands that a green indicator means monsters are not hostile, and if all his new abilities are real, he needs to level up fast and go on raids instead of wasting time mining. He thought about raiding, but then the game asked if he wanted to start the tutorial quest again. He initially believed it was just a temporary glitch. He expected to reconnect and get a simple class like warrior or magician, but he was surprised to find something new on top of the rare class card he had just gotten. He was shocked to find hidden information in the tutorial quest window. Survive against orcs for more than 71 minutes to get the tutorial master title and a rune with +10 to all stats. He still struggles to believe he is a legendary ArchMage because there are less than 100 of them in the entire world. He decides he must raise his levels quickly and start raiding. To begin raiding, he knows he needs to visit the Explorer Guild. Suddenly, he sees a bright question mark glowing in the distance. He is puzzled, wondering if a new quest has appeared from that glowing question mark, and then he sees a cute dog nearby. He also sees the aggro indicator clearly, which shows exactly which player a monster is planning to attack. In this world, the game God Wars holds a lot of value, and many people start playing with big dreams, but most end up saying it's incredibly tough and a waste of money. Beginners truly understand the harsh reality of God Wars the moment they face the tutorial. The tutorial only ends when a monster beats you to death, leaving other frustrated players screaming that they can't handle it. The main character discovered a hidden quest that promised legendary rewards, and he planned to use a trick to get all the linked quests. He looked up at the sky, wondering if there was something important there, and decided to start with an easy goblin hunting quest first. Suddenly, a quick action took place, showing something intense happening in a flash. After defeating some goblins easily due to his high stats, he leveled up and received a message that the war-loving dragon was watching his growth and giving him a new opportunity. It was time for a gacha pull, a free chance to get a skill card that appears every time a character levels up, though good skills rarely come out. The Explorer Guild provided services for powerful players outside the game, and the only way to escape their control was to give up your character. He called the Explorer Guild parasites and received a quest list from an NPC who instructed him to take the note and go to the specified location. Another NPC confirmed that he had received the Hayden's errand quest. He asked to quickly check the quest details and saw that he needed to collect 10 goblin leather. He was surprised by how much information there was about NPC Hayden's linked quests, which popped up in a huge list. Even with the long list, he already knew which specific quest he needed. Another player nearby was shocked, wondering how someone could struggle to even kill one goblin. That player thought the main character must be a beginner and guessed he bought the quest items because he finished so quickly, while the main character just smiled. The player predicted that the main character would soon become a money bag for the Explorer Guild and then angrily asked why he took all the goblin leather. The quest giver NPC, ignoring the other player, praised the main character's skill and immediately gave him another quest, to find Goblin's resentment, an item only a few goblins have, which surprised the angry player even more. The main character was surprised by the sudden new quest and explained that he bought 30 goblin leather because 10 weren't sold separately, even though he only needed 10 for the quest. He complained that the NPC just took all 30 goblin leather from him without asking. Down below, he found a lost puppy and thought it was his lucky day. A system message popped up, asking him to give the puppy a name, and he seemed a bit hesitant about it. He decided to name the wolf Lucky, and a bright light surrounded him, signifying a new beginning for the once nameless wolf. He was completely shocked by the bright light and the sudden event. His heart rate quickly went up, and the game automatically logged him out due to the intense reaction. After logging out, he was frustrated, wondering why the game didn't explain these things beforehand, especially about selling quests and taking his money. He demanded to know how they would compensate him for the 20 extra goblin leather that was taken from him, looking very upset. The NPC apologized, but firmly stated that since it was his mistake, they could not offer any compensation as per their contract. The NPC clarified that if customers do not follow the provided information, all responsibility falls on them, meaning he had to deal with the quest on his own. Feeling unlucky, the main character expressed his frustration with his situation. The other player, who had been angry, sighed in relief that he didn't get into trouble with the guildmaster. The main character, back in the game and holding his new puppy, hoped for a skill card as his reward. He was super excited, wishing for his own rags to riches story. A message appeared, stating that the wolf now served him as its master, and he had earned the title master of a divine beast. He was completely shocked, questioning if the puppy was truly a divine beast. The system confirmed it was an unexchangeable divine beast, and he happily celebrated his rags to riches story with his new wolf companion. He asked the puppy if it was a wolf, and it barked in response. He then felt a surge of excitement, believing he would now get unique and rare items. He was doing a gacha pull, with many skill cards spinning around him. He sighed, disappointed that 90 out of 100 pulls were normal and there wasn't a single unique rank card. However, he was glad to at least get his old fireball attack magic. He successfully obtained the fireball skill, which was of rare rank. Feeling that all his preparations were now complete, he decided it was time to go get the last hidden quest and was greeted by a quest giver NPC. The NPC asked if he had finished already and complimented his skill, which made the main character smile. He remembered how the Explorer Guild became an official business when the game developers stopped getting involved in in-game matters. He sighed, annoyed by the Explorer Guild, recalling that they were the reason he never wanted to create another account. An NPC explained the three main types of courses offered by the guild: a basic course for instant quests and an advanced course for quests plus item borrowing. The NPC continued, explaining the luxury course, which provided help until the end of the quest with the guild helper, and that payments could be made with in-game currency or real money like dollars and euros. He chose the basic course. He then remembered that anyone who tried to scam the Explorer Guild ended up being forced to work in a mining field to pay off their debts. Since NPCs had limited daily quests, players started reserving quests to sell for in-game currency and even camped in front of NPCs to monopolize them. This led to the formation of the powerful Explorer Guild. As it was impossible to manage all the NPCs and control other unruly players, the guild decided to establish its base in the town of Beginning. The town of Beginning was a safe haven for new players, and once someone left, they could never return, meaning no veteran players would cause trouble there. Gradually, the Explorer Guild grew its power from this town, expanding its services in many ways. They even gave free items and helped with hunting to beginners, improving their image and soon receiving positive evaluations from players. He then saw a quest for a lost and sick puppy with hidden information. He realized that if he didn't have his special ability to see hidden information, he would have overlooked the quest, just like everyone else. But he found it. He declared the quest was his and he wouldn't let anyone take it, knowing he had to visit the Explorer Guild for it. He really didn't want to deal with those bastards at the Explorer Guild, but since they managed most quests in that area, he had no choice. This crop is a title card and doesn't require narration. He reflected that while God Wars had many quests, the higher ranked ones were much rarer and could only be completed a limited number of times. He smirked, satisfied that everything was going as planned and there were no more obstacles in his way. Looked exhausted, showing how much effort he had put in. He finally handed over the goblin's resentment after a tough time, and in return, the NPC gave him a glowing bottle of vitalizing resurrection medicine. Tears of joy streamed down his face as he held the medicine, realizing he had finally achieved his goal. He excitedly announced that he could now embark on the legendary quest. Holding the glowing medicine, he knew this was his very first legendary quest. A brilliant light confirmed it. This was indeed the legendary quest, the highest rank in God Wars, a quest he had only heard rumors about, now right before his eyes. He tried to calm himself, but his excitement was too much, making it impossible to stay still. He was ecstatic, thinking that finding this one quest meant he wouldn't have to worry about his living expenses for the entire month. He loved this trash luck-based game. He couldn't stop exclaiming how much he loved the trash luck-based game and then decided to confirm the quest details. He reviewed the legendary quest, Lost and Sick Puppy, which required the vitalizing resurrection medicine he just got, realizing it was a hidden quest that appeared only after specific conditions were met. The man sat in the hospital, his niece Hiren sleeping peacefully on his lap, but his face showed deep worry. He knew that in the end, money was always the biggest problem for them. But now, with Fenrir by his side, he felt he had no reason to hold back anymore. He decided to sell all the valuable game information he had and collect more items to sell. To do all this, his first priority was to make his ArchMage class stronger, super fast. He found himself in the beginner's hunting ground, surrounded by other adventurers, ready to gather useful items like swords, axes, and potions. He knew about telekinesis, a special skill for mages that lets them move things with their mind, which as an ArchMage, he could easily learn. Things were looking great for him from the very start, and he wondered if his cute companion, Lucky, was bringing him good fortune. "All right, Lucky, shall we go hunting again?" he exclaimed, dashing into the forest with his energetic companion following close behind. They soon reached the Goblin Forest, a place full of weak monsters perfect for training. Lucky, the little puppy, bravely attacked the goblins, while the man got ready to cast his powerful magic. He smiled, feeling good about their teamwork, and Lucky barked excitedly, clearly enjoying the fight. He asked Lucky if the goblins were too easy for them, and the little dog seemed to agree with a confident posture. The hunting was going much better than expected, making him wonder if they should venture deeper into the forest, and Lucky wagged its tail happily in response. As they went further, the forest grew darker and more mysterious, with large trees looming over them. A dark crow watched from above as a goblin on the ground looked around, confused by something. Suddenly, Lucky launched itself at a goblin, showing surprising speed and strength. The little dog fought bravely against multiple goblins, even taking a hit without giving up. Lucky managed to knock one goblin into the air, and the man quickly prepared a fiery spell to finish it off. With a shout, he unleashed a powerful fireball, sending flames toward the monster. Back in the real world, little Hiren stood outside an intensive care unit, looking very sad. "That?" Hiren cried out, tears streaming down her face, as the man rushed to her side, asking frantically what had happened. A doctor explained that Hiren's father, Yun Tibu, had a drop in blood pressure because his heart's function weakened for a bit, but it wasn't too serious for now. The doctor then revealed that Tibu had a pacemaker, needing regular changes and rehabilitation, and asked the man if he had gotten his own checkup. The man hesitated, admitting that he hadn't had a consultation himself. Suddenly, the scene changed back to the game world, where other players noticed Lucky outside a virtual hospital building, exclaiming how cute it was. They called Lucky a puppy divine beast, and the man wondered if it really looked like a small dog. Lucky barked playfully, and the man realized he had gained two important things after finishing the legendary quest to heal it. First, he now had the freedom to play the game solo, because Fenrir could draw all the monsters' attention, making a party unnecessary. Soon, he would be strong enough to leave the beginner town. While hunting outside the town would be much harder, the rewards would also be much bigger, and he remembered the second important thing, a special skill card sent by the god of archmages, War Dragon. He decided it was time to try the random card draw again, eagerly accepting the achievement reward. Many cards spun around him in the air, waiting for him to pick one. As the cards settled, he looked at them, surprised, thinking he never expected that particular card to appear. He smiled, knowing he had just pulled a very rare, unique rank skill card. The card revealed the skill Telekinesis, which was an extremely rare skill, usually only for telekinetic mages. Telekinesis, a power to move objects without touching them, was an incredible skill, and suddenly, the scene shifted to the real world where a man named Hyunwoo was walking and was greeted by a friend. His friend asked if he shouldn't say hello, but another person quickly told him to leave Hyunwoo alone, explaining that he'd been down ever since his mage account got suspended. The friend wondered what Hyunwoo would do now, since he had poured all his money into that suspended account, and then the main character suddenly remembered something vital, Fenrir. He grinned, realizing he hadn't been wrong about something important, as Lucky glowed brightly beside him. That adorable dog was actually Fenrir, known as the strongest divine beast in God Wars, unmatched in close combat. After changing his class to an archmage, he was lucky enough to get Fenrir, and he knew this was a once-in-a-lifetime chance that he couldn't let go. Just as he was thinking about how well things were going, his phone vibrated with an incoming call from Hiren, and he heard his brother on the other end offering to buy Hiren chicken. A frantic yell of uncle from his brother, followed by Hiren's piercing scream of dad, immediately sent a chill down his spine. The man, still in the game world, looked completely shocked and confused by the sudden alarming news from the real world. Lucky looked up at him with concern, just as a giant red warning popped up, A boss monster raid was starting in less than an hour, demanding his immediate attention. The character looks stressed and tells someone on the phone that he has trauma and anxiety. He explains he is having a hard time and asks to call them back later. He is preparing to fight a champion goblin, which is a tough boss monster that changes its attack style. This monster is known to be a big challenge for new players, requiring strategy. He is seen digging, possibly setting up traps, knowing that even experienced players avoid fighting this boss alone. However, he believes he has found a way to stop its changing attack patterns. He launches a fiery attack at the champion goblin, thinking that if its special pattern is stopped, the rest of the fight will be easy. The goblin is hit by multiple powerful blasts. The champion goblin screams in pain as the attacks land, showing visible damage and looking ready to collapse. His pet, Lucky, bravely bites the injured goblin, causing it to shriek even louder. Lucky continues to attack the goblin as it falls, and the character is surprised that the champion goblin was not as difficult as he expected. He smiles as the goblin disappears after being defeated, thinking it was an easy win for a beginner boss. He wishes he could have streamed this victory live for his viewers. He imagines how much money he could have earned from sponsorships if he had live streamed the fight, as several achievement notifications pop up on his screen. Now that the fight is over, he realizes he has many things to do, starting with drawing new item cards from the game. Lucky suddenly barks, looking intently at a mysterious red glowing object in the distance. The character turns to Lucky, asking what is wrong, and then spots the glowing object himself, looking surprised. The glowing item is revealed to be the champion goblin's distinctive mask. He sees a notification that the champion goblin mask is available for purchase at $910. He is shocked by the high price of the raid item, wondering if its performance makes it so expensive. He wishes he could keep it for himself. However, he quickly remembers his brother's medical bills and their living expenses, realizing he is too desperate for money to keep it. His phone then rings. He answers the call, introducing himself as Yahello, and is surprised to hear it's the insurance company calling about electric shock compensation. His eyes widen in sudden realization, letting out a surprise sound. Back in the game, the ground beneath his feet cracks, and he quickly tells Lucky to move back. He looks intently as the ground continues to crack and glow ominously. The champion goblin reappears, now looking even more enraged and stronger than before. The goblin charges aggressively towards him, ready for another round of battle. He swiftly dodges the goblin's powerful lunge, which misses him and strikes the ground. He observes the shattered ground from the goblin's missed attack, then signals Lucky to follow him. With a determined expression, he stands ready with Lucky, declaring they will hunt the boss together, as a timer displays 2:23. The screen shows a title card, signaling the true beginning of the intense boss battle. The setting changes to a dark, cave-like area, filled with a pulsing red energy, indicating the boss's territory. He adjusts his strategy and checks his inventory, looking focused alongside Lucky as the timer officially starts at 0000. The red energy intensifies around them, hinting at the powerful boss's imminent arrival. He watches as the boss approaches rapidly, shouting a warning that it is coming. He quickly notes the champion goblin's HP bar, seeing it's still injured as the monster stumbles. He realizes the boss's attack pattern is about to change as the champion goblin leaps into the air. The goblin crashes down violently, creating a powerful impact near him. The ground shatters from the immense force of the goblin's attack. The champion goblin quickly scurries across the ground, moving with surprising speed. The goblin suddenly looks confused, realizing it has been caught in a trap. Seizing the chance, he quickly throws multiple oil bottles at the surprised goblin. The oil splashes all over the goblin, making its body glow and covering it entirely. The goblin screams in irritation, now slick with oil, as the character prepares his next move, conjuring a fiery orb in his hand. He yells "Fireball!" and unleashes a blazing attack that shoots directly at the oil-soaked goblin. The goblin cries out from the impact of the fireball, and the character wonders if he can finally be greedy for his own reward. He reflects on his past, where he always chose safe options, hinting at a difficult life. He feels tired of giving up opportunities and chances that come his way, especially since he doesn't know if his life will get better. With renewed determination, he makes up his mind and declares, "All right, let's do this." He confidently states that he has watched many raid videos of the champion goblin, so he knows its attack patterns well. Even though he's never tried a solo raid, he feels a strong chance of winning this battle, with Lucky by his side, as the timer ticks on at 55:34:26. He considers boss monster raids the ultimate challenge in God Wars because they offer huge rewards, far more than regular monsters. He sees other players battling a massive, multi-headed monster, emphasizing the difficulty of these high-level raids. He acknowledges that these super difficult boss raids are usually only for the top-ranked players. He compares these raids to a star in the sky, something everyone can see but only a select few can truly reach. The rewards from these raids are incredibly valuable, including rare items and treasures. The earnings from live broadcasts of these hunts are also astronomical, attracting many viewers and potential sponsors. Back in his battle, he lands another powerful blow on the champion goblin. The goblin stumbles and falls after the hit, making a pain sound, while Lucky continues to nip at it. Standing over the fallen monster, he prepares to unleash one final fireball attack. He launches the fireball, which slams into the goblin, finishing the fight. A message pops up, confirming his victory. The title champion goblin hunter has been achieved. He beams with happiness. He celebrates with Lucky, exclaiming, "We won!" and recognizing the huge potential earnings from games like God Wars. He looks at the game's timer, thinking he still has a long journey ahead to become a top ranker. He plans to report his victory to the game community and buy something nice for Hiren, considering the $25 compensation he's received. He gets ready to type out his message. Suddenly, he pauses, wondering if he should just capture the monster instead of reporting it, especially since no one is around to see him. He remembers that he and Lucky have already cleared all the other monsters in the area, leaving him alone with this choice. He decides just this once. He stands before the message board, still deep in thought, with Lucky patiently watching him, contemplating his next move. An archer-like character was running, looking worried, as if someone was about to teach him a lesson. Suddenly, he cried out in pain and fell to the ground. The ArchMage streamer stood over the fallen player, looking down at him. The archer looked up in shock, recognizing the ArchMage streamer and warning that he would remember his game ID. But the ArchMage streamer just looked confident, ready for whatever came his way. He didn't care about the threat, saying it was just an alt account and the archer couldn't call for help because of level limits. The ArchMage streamer then warned the archer to be careful with his words, telling him to just log out if he didn't like it. Both the archer and his friend logged out, but the ArchMage streamer knew they would be back and laughed, thinking about these civilian killers. He thought about how these bad players, known as civilian killers, stay in the starting town even after becoming strong, just to attack new, weak players for fun. He found them really annoying. He knew it would be foolish to fight them directly at his current low level, so he called his pet, Lucky. Lucky, his loyal wolf, looked up, ready for action. Later, some other players spotted the ArchMage. One of them got angry at his friend for not hiding his face or nickname, knowing these guys are scared of streamers. The ArchMage streamer quietly thought to himself that these troublemakers are indeed terrified of being caught on a live stream. One of the enemies tried to attack, but the ArchMage streamer quickly dodged the glowing projectile. The enemy was surprised, realizing the ArchMage had used both fire and ice magic, meaning he must be an ArchMage with many powers. The player wondered if this powerful ArchMage was just a rich person playing on a secondary account. The ArchMage stood tall, his eyes glowing. He noticed one of the enemies trying to run away. ArchMage thought about how he and Lucky had beaten a strong champion goblin together, wondering if these current enemies were even tougher. The group of civilian killers, including a big brute, looked at each other, perhaps discussing how strong their new opponent was. The sky was clear, but the situation on the ground was far from peaceful. The big brute and his friend spotted many new players, calling them easy prey. The brute then raised his heavy mace, getting ready to strike. He loudly declared he would start by attacking the player closest to him with his weapon. Meanwhile, the ArchMage was busy fighting, probably against some goblins. Lucky, the pet wolf, leapt into action and knocked down a goblin. The ArchMage praised Lucky for his good work, feeling safe with Lucky by his side, and decided it was time to move to a new hunting spot. A bright light flashed, suggesting they were moving quickly or entering a new area. The ArchMage checked the stats of a rare goblin set he found, seeing it boosted his strength and magic power. He noted that while he got a lot of basic goblin gear, there were no special items like the champion mask, and the new items didn't even have a set bonus. He wished a unique item would just appear out of nowhere, right as Lucky nudged his leg. Footsteps were heard, signaling someone was coming closer. A scared beginner player ran past, yelling for someone to help him. Right behind him, the large brute from the civilian killers group chased him, ready to hit him with his mace. The brute swung his mace hard, hitting the beginner player. The beginner's health bar dropped very fast, showing how much damage he took, while a group of goblins stood nearby. The ArchMage watched it all. The ArchMage saw an enemy hiding behind a shield and challenged them, preparing his magic. He then fired a powerful ice arrow. The ice arrow was so strong it felt more like a bullet, going right through a goblin and the enemy's shield. The Archmage thought that arrow-type magic was perfect for enemies who hide behind shields, and he wondered where the damaged enemy thought they were going as he readied another shot. A goblin looked shocked, probably sensing danger. The beginner player who was hit earlier was now completely defeated. The brute player, Cheng, laughed, saying he got the mage, but was surprised the mage died in just one hit. He said mages have very little health, which makes them less fun to fight than warriors. The defeated beginner player angrily threatened the civilian killers, saying he would tell his guild about what they did. The group of civilian killers just laughed at his empty threats. The game was connecting to God Wars, and the Archmage thought he couldn't waste any more time. A powerful blast of magic filled the air. The Archmage found himself in the Goblin Forest. Magic energy swirled around him as he prepared his next move. He unleashed a fiery explosion, hitting a goblin directly. Multiple fire blasts erupted, hitting many goblins at once, showing his immense power. He readied another fiery attack, his hands glowing red. The brute, Chang, was taken by surprise as a fiery explosion hit him. The female mage player screamed as she was also caught in the blast. The civilian killers were all confused and surprised, wondering who had attacked them so powerfully. One of them mumbled that the Archmage was surprisingly easy to defeat, having been killed in one shot. The Archmage then announced his live stream for today would be hunting the civilian killers. The Archmage streamer stood confidently, smiling as he introduced himself, ready to take on the civilian killers. In the real world, the Archmage asked Huxia to deposit $300 into his account. Huxia asked if he found any good items that day, but the Archmage said that wasn't why he had money. The Archmage then talked about feeling like he was going crazy from anxiety after a past accident, describing how thinking about trucks and poles made him tremble, and he couldn't sleep. He wondered if he had PTSD and was told by someone on the phone that his insurance payout would be given after his medical checkup, which made him smile knowingly. He admitted that he exaggerated his symptoms a bit to get a good insurance payout, calling it a bit unsightly, but he didn't seem to mind. Sitting in his VR pod, he was happy that the insurance money gave him a month's worth of wages, allowing him to fully focus on growing stronger in the game. Midas found himself deep inside a secret dungeon, a place hidden away in the town of Beginning. He noticed that the enemies here had a low karma score, which meant he would get many good items as a reward. Midas felt happy about teaching these bad players a lesson, as it meant both justice and more valuable loot for him. He remembered how he used to think item drops were just luck, but now, with his special ability, he could see everything clearly. He could even spot really good items like the champion goblin's leather armor and leather pants among the drops. Suddenly, a group of angry goblins charged at Midas and his divine beast, Lucky. More goblins appeared from the dark tunnels, looking ready for a fight. Midas quickly prepared his magic, his hand glowing with energy to take on the monsters. He unleashed powerful fire attacks, easily defeating the goblins with explosions. Even a big, scary goblin boss was no match for Midas, who quickly dealt with it. After the fight, Midas thought about clearing the goblin sorcerer's hideout when suddenly, Lucky, his divine beast, gained a brand new power. Midas was presented with a screen asking him to choose Lucky's new, special ability. He saw many cards for skills, but one in particular caught his eye because of its bright, golden glow. Midas reached out and chose the golden card, curious about the power it held. To his surprise, the skill Lucky gained was of a legendary rank, which made Midas gasp in excitement. Legendary skill was called Treasure Hunter, and it allowed Lucky to sense rare treasures hidden all around them. Midas thought about the meaning of treasures and if it only meant normal items or something more. Then, a thought came to his mind about a famous player known as the luckiest player in the game God Wars. This player, the guild master of immortals, and his divine beast, Smarty, were famous for finding countless hidden dungeons and rare items. Many people doubted his incredible luck, thinking it was too good to be true, almost like cheating. Midas wondered if the player's amazing luck was actually because he also had the legendary treasure hunter skill. Excited by this idea, Midas quickly told Lucky that it was time to start hunting for treasures. Lucky barked happily and, with his new skill, began sniffing around the area, looking for hidden goods. Soon, the ground started to glow, pointing out hidden rare items like thorny mushrooms and roselle medicinal herbs. Midas was amazed, realizing these were all high-quality ingredients that could be sold for a lot of money, some of which he had never seen before. He praised Lucky, calling him his precious treasure for finding such valuable things. Lucky then turned his head, looking curiously at another spot, as if he sensed something even more important there. A message popped up, revealing a hidden dungeon called Goblin Sorcerer's Secret Hideout, which Midas instantly decided to explore. He immediately equipped his champion goblin gear, feeling a surge of power as it activated. The champion goblin set effect activated, making all his stats jump up by 25 points. Additionally, his damage against goblins increased by 10%, and his intelligence and magic power were now incredibly high for his level. Midas knew that anyone seeing his current stats would surely think it was a game glitch because he was so powerful already. Suddenly, Lucky let out a loud howl, startling Midas, but he quickly calmed his divine beast down. Midas looked determined, his eyes shining, as he firmly decided that he would clear this hidden dungeon. He and Lucky stepped into the dark entrance of the dungeon, ready for what awaited them inside. The dungeon was a winding, root-filled cave, with many small goblins patrolling the narrow paths. Further inside, a large throne made of skulls and bones came into view, emanating a dark aura. Seated on the throne was the powerful boss, a level 16 sorcerer goblin, guarded by its minions. The other goblins stood by, their eyes glowing red, ready to protect their leader. Midas was shocked to realize that this was truly a hidden dungeon. A system message confirmed it was a unique goblin sorcerer's secret hideout, meant for players under level 12. Offering great rewards for the first discoverer. Midas realized he was the very first person to find it and could sell this valuable information for a whole month's living expenses. He paused, considering the thought of selling this amazing discovery. After a moment, he slammed his hand on a nearby tree trunk, shaking his head. Midas smiled, telling himself that a true gamer shouldn't sell such a rare and exciting find for money. A man gave a shiny ring to the protagonist and told him he might be different from others. He asked the protagonist to find a person named Sakhalin in Wiga's city. The man explained that, if the protagonist showed the ring to Sakhalin, she would guide him. He then wished the protagonist good luck for his journey. The protagonist got super excited, realizing that the main story of the game was finally starting. He also remembered he had some skill cards to pick after leveling up and felt he should do that quickly, as the main quest was very important. Suddenly, a bright light appeared around him, making him squint. He wondered why it was so bright, looking confused. A special skill card appeared, showing a legendary skill called Polymorph, which lets him change into any creature he hunts. This skill was only for illusionists. He arrived at the town of Beginning and saw an old NPC named Yum, who was part of the main quest. Yum was the guy players usually met after finishing the town's tasks. The protagonist realized Yum's house was a special private place, like a personal dungeon. This meant he wouldn't have to worry about those pesky Explorer Guild people bothering him. Inside, he was fighting a big goblin sorcerer and wished he could have finished it faster to avoid its next big attack. Suddenly, his pet, Lucky, bravely jumped in. Lucky was awesome, hitting the sorcerer goblin and stopping its magic spell. This was just the chance the protagonist needed. He quickly used a powerful fireball attack, hitting the stunned goblin right away. That brief moment of interruption was exactly what he needed to strike. With a loud thump, the sorcerer goblin fell to the ground, finally defeated. A message popped up confirming his victory. The protagonist cheered loudly, super happy they won the fight alone. Lucky barked excitedly, celebrating their teamwork. But suddenly, a huge voice roared human, and the defeated goblin sorcerer stood up again, glowing red. The protagonist was shocked, wondering how it was still alive. The goblin sorcerer with glowing red eyes declared loudly, "I'm back." It looked even more scary than before. Then, the monster announced that the War of Gods will begin, making the protagonist totally confused. He wondered, the War of Gods? The sorcerer goblin was transforming, becoming even more dangerous. The protagonist quickly called out to Lucky to get ready. Lucky bravely fought off the smaller goblins, helping the protagonist buy some time. The sorcerer goblin's energy was low, but it was still a tough boss. The protagonist understood that this boss goblin used strong magic, while its small helpers tried to distract him. He realized he needed to time his moves perfectly. He decided that if he timed his attacks just right, he could easily take down the sorcerer goblin. He made a well-aimed strike. Suddenly, a quest update appeared for traces of a nameless god. He couldn't believe he found such an important main quest. He remembered how other players tried hard to find this main quest everywhere but missed it in the town of Beginning. Many even thought it was a game error. He realized that if the Explorer Guild hadn't made the town of Beginning such a difficult place, someone else might have found this quest first. He felt this was his big chance. He decided to go through this big quest all by himself, knowing it was a huge opportunity. He looked at Lucky, who seemed to agree. He entered Yoon's house, which was a special private area just for him. He felt really good about getting this far. Yoon, the old man, greeted him, calling him a noisy guest. He asked if the protagonist was ready to leave the town and explore the big world. The protagonist paused for a moment. He then told Yoon that he had another important question to ask. He then asked Yoon if he knew anything about the traces of a nameless god. Yoon looked surprised by the question. Yoon's expression changed, showing surprise and deep thought after hearing about the nameless god. The protagonist felt a sense of achievement, like he was getting somewhere. The protagonist was still fighting, amazed at how much damage he was doing to the sorcerer goblin. He wondered if this was the real power of having high stats. He continued his relentless attack, launching another fiery fireball at the goblin with full force. The sorcerer goblin's health bar was now barely visible, showing it was almost defeated after all the attacks. The goblin was really close to being defeated. The protagonist was totally focused, knowing this was the final moment to win. Yoon explained that a nameless god meant gods who lost in the big war of gods and were forgotten by everyone. He added that before these forgotten gods completely lost their powers, they left behind their legacy somewhere in the world. The protagonist's eyes lit up, feeling like he was about to hear an amazing story. He happily confirmed that he really wanted to know more about the legacy of a god. Yoon told him that even he searched for these traces for a very long time but could never find the end. However, he then hinted that things might be different now. Protagonist listened with wide, surprised eyes as Yoon was about to reveal something big about the main scenario. A new section appeared, talking about Kim Min-soo, the brilliant scientist who made the amazing virtual world of God Wars. When reporters asked him why he used new tech for games, Kim Min-soo said he just wanted to tell a story, not make money. He explained it was all for his personal interest. Sadly, Kim Min-soo suddenly passed away. For 5 whole years after that, no one could find the special story he wanted to share through God Wars. The protagonist finally realized that the main story, the main scenario, was happening right now. He wondered if it was a game bug. He looked happy, checking his inventory and remembering he recorded the fight to sell later. Now he wanted to see what cool items he got. He found a sorcerer goblin staff, a unique item that could be used at level 10 and had 31 attack. He was thrilled, thinking he could make a lot of money from it. He saw a great option on the staff, possibly the best for a unique item. But then, a message popped up. On pickup, the protagonist got super angry, shouting that this game was shitty trash because he couldn't trade his cool new item. Just then, a message saying the main scenario section has been created appeared, but he was too mad to care about it right then. A big question hangs in the air as a fierce battle begins, hinting at a fragment of a nameless god. A sharp attack lands on a shield, showing the intense fight against a strong enemy. A huge orc clashes with a tank player, who bravely holds the line, taking the full force of the monster. Other players, including an archer, shoot arrows trying to reduce the orc's health while the tank struggles to keep its attention. From a cliff, the main character observes the battle below, realizing he has found the true objective of his quest. He understands he needs to hunt a specific orc to get the fragment of a nameless god, and his special eyes let him pinpoint which orc holds it. The problem is, the orc carrying the fragment is already being hunted by another party that arrived before him. He feels it would be wrong to forcefully take the item from them, even though it's just a game, and then wonders why his friend Deechel is acting strange. Deechel suddenly looks shocked and gets pulled away from the fight, as his party realizes he didn't log out earlier. The game automatically logs out players who play for over 5 hours, forcing Deechel out of the battle and leaving his party in a tough spot. Meanwhile, the main character is speaking with an old man who tells him he has shared all the information he can. The old man asks if he is ready to leave the town of beginning and explore the wider world, to which the main character eagerly agrees. With a flash of light and magic, the main character is teleported away from the starting town. The wise old man wishes him good fortune in his future battles. The main character finds himself in a new place, looking quite surprised by the sudden change of scenery. He is utterly shocked by a new quest demanding he hunt a staggering 10,000 orcs. He appears frustrated and overwhelmed, visibly shaking at the seemingly impossible task. He sighs, reluctantly accepting the quest while his pet Lucky barks, seemingly sharing his frustration. He worries deeply about the immense time it would take to hunt 10,000 orcs, feeling he cannot waste so many weeks or months. However, he then checks his main scenario quest and realizes the true objective is simply to recover *1 fragment of a nameless god, not hunt 10,000 orcs. He arrives in a bustling place called Weegus Town, where a man notices him and his small, precious pet, Lucky. Other players watch him as he confidently walks through the town, wondering if he is an experienced player on an alternate account. He thinks about the ring he received from Yoon, noting its additional effects are on par with a legendary item. The ring even has set effects with another item called Sakhalin's Ring, making him wonder if progressing through the main story will keep giving such amazing rewards. He can't help but smile widely, truly thrilled by the excellent rewards he is getting. He enters a house magically hidden from view, where a young girl named Sakhalin appears and asks how he got in. He confirms she is Sakhalin and shows her the ring that Yoon had instructed him to deliver. A message appears, showing he has cleared the quest, and he prepares himself for the next part of the story. Sakhalin dismisses him, calling him a brat and stating she doesn't speak to players who have only hunted goblins. Prove his worth, Sakhalin gives him a new main scenario quest. He must go out and hunt 10,000 orcs. He quietly tells Lucky to stay hidden and be careful, as Lucky doesn't fully look like a Fenrir yet. He decides that he and Lucky should quickly go and meet Sakhalin again, ready to tackle the challenge. Back at Sakhalin's house, a dark, empty archway stands inside, hinting at its magical secrecy. The main character approaches Sakhalin's mysterious house, marked by a glowing nameplate. He walks inside the house and is surprised to see someone else already there, asking them, "Who are you?" This new person, a streamer, excitedly tells his viewers to look over there, drawing their attention to something important. He points out a party below him, clearly in danger while fighting a large orc. The streamer announces he has found a party needing help and asks his viewers what he should do. As a player from the struggling party looks up at him, the desperate player shouts for help, and the streamer grins, knowing his audience has heard the plea. Without wasting any time, the streamer leaps down from the cliff to join the battle. He and Lucky rush into the fray, attacking the orc with a powerful staff, causing a surprised yell from one of the players. The streamer smiles confidently, thinking that with his luck, everything will be resolved easily. Despite the streamer's arrival, the battle is still fierce. A player named Yaren is struck hard by an orc. Another player yells in panic, worried about all their damage dealers getting defeated. A giant orc raises its axe for a heady strike, ready to crush the vulnerable player below. The player screams in terror as the powerful attack closes in. In a different location, a bright beam of light shoots into the sky, signaling a new player's entry into the wider world. It's a widely known saying that the real game, God Wars, truly begins only after leaving the town of beginning. A new player happily graduates from the starting town, feeling proud of all he contributed to the Explorer Guild. He is greeted by someone who tells him that some really good stuff came in, catching his attention. The excited new player looks eager, ready to discover what new adventures and items await him outside the starting town. The main character was a little sad because he only got jumped items from a monster, so he planned to hold a special event later. He was thankful for being allowed to keep the loot, and then someone from another party asked for his streamer nickname. He looked surprised when asked his nickname again, but the other person felt like it was fate meeting him and wanted to promote his stream. The main character just smiled, thinking he might properly stream one day. He then thought of a cool streamer name for himself, ArchMage Streamer. Just then, he saw another player already holding a mysterious shard. The girl with the shard was told she was incredibly lucky to find it. The main character offered the loot to them, but his party insisted he take it since he saved them from danger. He understood it was rude to keep saying no in Korean culture, so he agreed with a happy smile. He told his audience about the amazing opportunity he got thanks to these kind players. He announced that he would loot the items and even hold an event if he found anything super rare. With that, he prepared to grab the treasure. A notification popped up, showing that 3 new items were successfully added to his inventory. He quickly checked his inventory, and suddenly, a big, bright message appeared announcing a new quest in the main story. The new quest was called Secret Altar, a main story mission to find a hidden altar and uncover its secrets, with a legendary skill card as a reward. The main character was completely shocked and excited to see that the quest reward was a legendary skill card. He thought about how he had survived 5 long years in the game without any good fortune, relying only on his own hard work. He then prepared an ice arrow, ready for battle. He kept thinking about his sheer effort as he unleashed a powerful ice arrow towards an enemy. The ice arrow struck the orc, hitting it hard and causing it to stumble. He quickly followed up with a blazing fireball, hitting the orc with a huge explosion of flames. He confidently declared that orcs were no match for him, while a fellow player wisely thought that sometimes luck can also be a skill. The main character completed the quest and leveled up, then chose to claim his skill card reward. He picked a skill card, revealing a unique skill called Long Toss, which makes magic attacks stronger the further away the enemy is. He instantly realized it was an amazing skill, perfect for taking down huge monsters from a distance, though another person seemed confused about its use. He held the mysterious shard in his hand, deep in thought, and then decided it was time to get things ready for what was next. He remembered the unwritten rule in God Wars where whoever hits a monster first gets the loot, which meant he didn't have priority in this situation. He dramatically paused, pretending to be live streaming, and thanked his donators while acting with all his heart. His teammate looked confused as the main character explained that he had joined the fight late, so the original attacker should get priority for the orc's loot. His companions told him to go ahead and take the loot anyway. He then started talking about how hard it is to find the trace of a nameless god because a special barrier protects it. He explained that only those who used to follow the nameless god could get close to its traces. He then asked what they needed to do to break through this strong barrier. He suggested they might need to pretend to be a follower, and his companion confirmed it was the right idea. He then showed them a special ring. The ring was a ring made from a shard of a nameless god, which could temporarily let them pass the altar's barrier. He wondered about the altar and asked what they wanted to do next. He was warned that it could be very risky, but he confidently said that no danger could stop him, showing his determined spirit. A moment later, he felt a surge of energy or pain. A notification appeared, confirming he had hunted an orc. He seemed frustrated, but then paused, perhaps recalling something. He quickly apologized to his live stream, saying he bounced for a moment, while his companions looked around, confused about what was happening. The story continues, moving past a small break. He thanked his companions for their help, and they kindly replied that beginners should always assist each other. He then prepared another powerful attack. He leaped high into the air, ready to cast a brilliant blue ice spell. He summoned a swift, wolf-like creature made of ice, which darted forward and attacked the orc. The ice wolf slashed at the orc, drawing blood and making the orc cry out in pain. The orc tried to hit the ice wolf, but it easily dodged, and then the main character landed a direct, fiery punch on the orc. He checked the orc's health bar, pleased to see he was dealing a lot of damage, especially for someone who had just graduated from the school of beginning. He swallowed, wondering if this intense excitement was why people spend so much money on games. Then he braced himself for another attack on the orc. He calmly dodged the orc's swinging attack, his eyes sharp and focused. He swiftly delivered another powerful strike, using his ice magic to attack the orc with precision and force. Our hero and his pet, Lucky, are super happy because he reached level 10 really fast and in just 4 days. He thinks he would have dominated the game if he had this much luck 5 years ago. He remembers his old struggles and decides it's time to check his level up reward card. Lucky barks happily beside him. Our hero asks Lucky if a legendary skill card will appear, thinking that would be really nice to get. He wants to pick yes for the reward. He checks his skill cards, noting that he hasn't found any super useful ones since he reached level 11. Lucky suddenly barks loudly, making him jump. Lucky's loud bark makes our hero look surprised, wondering what his pet saw or heard. The scene shifts to a tense dungeon fight where a huge orc monster is attacking. The atmosphere feels dangerous and urgent. A player screams in panic as the orc attacks, while another player shouts at the healer to do their job properly or get kicked from the party. The player continues to scold the damage dealers for not understanding game mechanics and expects the tank to act as a meat shield, which reminds our hero of tough times. He recalls struggling in parties 5 years ago when the game first started. He remembers having a rough time keeping up with his party members back then. Soon after, rich players started buying strong skills and items, making a big gap between players. He still remembers how much he hated those rich players who just bought their way to power. The scene then shows the game's title, the ArchMage. Now, our hero and Lucky find themselves at the entrance to a place called the Fishy Forest, looking for adventure. The forest looks a bit spooky. He spots something hidden and is surprised to find it's the entrance to his secret altar. He can't believe it was hidden so well. He thinks about how this game relies on luck for hidden finds and how he wouldn't have found the secret spot without Lucky and his sharp eyes. He then opens the dungeon information to learn more. The dungeon info shows it's a secret altar with legendary rank, meant for players level 20 and below. The boss monster is a rotting orc, and defeating it gives great rewards like 3% to all stats. He notices the dungeon only allows players under level 20 to enter. He ponders for a moment and then tells Lucky that it's okay. Our hero loudly declares that they should go hunt something else instead, leaving Lucky looking very confused and disappointed. He explains to Lucky that fighting a boss monster at his current level 11 is too hard. It's better to come back when he reaches level 20, so he doesn't have to make things harder for himself. Our hero smiles confidently and tells Lucky to follow him, promising to show him what it's like to be carried to victory. He prepares his weapon for battle. He gets ready to fight, facing a big, angry orc monster determined to win this battle easily. Our hero focuses his magic, preparing to cast a powerful fire spell at the approaching orc. Sparks of fire gather around his hands. He unleashes a powerful blast of fire, sending it flying toward the orc with great force and speed. The orc falls to the ground, defeated, and our hero celebrates his easy win, calling it a home run. He then gets a surprise notification. Suddenly, a bright notification appears, announcing that he has finally reached level 20, making him very happy and excited. He finds out that the legendary skill card is a reward for his quest, meaning it's an incredibly difficult challenge. He's amazed, as he's never seen a legendary skill as a quest reward before. Our hero realizes that finding the altar was super easy because of Lucky, unlike other players who would struggle just for unique cards. He then sees a new objective: uncover its secret. Lucky barks loudly and excitedly, as if trying to tell him something important about the quest. Our hero looks at his pet, curious. He understands Lucky is telling him that he will help find the secret of the altar quickly. Our hero praises Lucky, calling him the best. Another "You leveled up" message pops up, showing his continuous growth and power in the game. Elsewhere, two players are talking about a rumor they heard about a mage who is solo killing orcs in the fishy forest. They discuss how this mage is called the One Combo Man because he defeats monsters with just a single combo attack. They also reveal his class is ArchMage. One person mentions that the ArchMage even live streams, but the other dismisses him as just a lucky player with rich parents who bought his way to power. The second person gets curious, wondering what rare items they might get if they manage to defeat such a powerful, rich-ass ArchMage. Back with our hero, his ears start itching, which in Korea means someone is talking about you. He realizes that others probably see him as one of those rich, lucky players now, just like he used to see them. He spots an orc nearby and thinks it's a perfect, easy target for him to defeat by himself. He then prepares his next move. He raises his hand and fires a sharp ice arrow straight at the orc, starting the fight with a cold blast. The ice arrow hits the orc, making it groan in pain. The monster is clearly surprised by the attack. Without wasting a moment, our hero follows up with a powerful fireball to quickly finish off the stunned orc. He opened his inventory to check his items, getting ready for whatever was next. Soon, he was about to equip something important. He looked at a special ring, knowing he needed it to get into the secret dungeon. His little pet wolf, Lucky, watched him closely. He peered into the dungeon entrance, which looked incredibly deep and dark. Suddenly, he felt the boundary of the dungeon and a bright light glowed around his hand. A message popped up, telling him that the ring, made from a piece of a nameless god, was tricking the dungeon's boundary, allowing him to pass. He learned that the ring's power, called Dragon's Dignity, made all enemies nearby take more damage, and he saw a clear image of how it worked. This meant that every player who joined him in a fight would get a 10% attack boost, making him more useful than a normal player in a raid. He felt pretty good about being so helpful just by standing there, but he knew he wanted more than just quick money from a guild. He then asked his little companion, "Right, Lucky?" He started talking to Lucky about making a lot of money to send Hiren to art school, and how he'd drive her to elementary school in his cool car. They also needed a huge house where everyone could have their own room, and Lucky barked in agreement. He chuckled, surprised at how well Lucky responded even without understanding, and then noticed they had already reached the entrance of the dungeon. As he stepped forward, he got a new title called The One Who Doesn't Retreat, with Lucky right behind him. More notifications quickly appeared, giving him 2 more titles, Nerves of Steel and Sharpshooter, and even a rune. He also noticed he had already hunted a rotting orc. He wondered if it was time to collect the rewards, and his system message confirmed that the dungeon boundary was letting him in. With an excited yell, he jumped down into the darkness. He kept falling deeper and deeper into the dungeon, landing with a thunk. He finally reached a secret altar hidden dungeon and smiled, ready for the adventure ahead. "Yup," he said, confirming his readiness, as strange noises echoed around him, hinting at what was to come. Suddenly, a huge orc monster appeared, but he quickly moved out of the way, dodging its attack with ease. He looked surprised as the orc's health bar appeared, making him wonder about the monster. He was shocked to see the rotting orc had an incredibly high HP, asking himself, what the heck is that HP? He quickly realized that this orc had over 30 times the health of a normal orc, but he also noticed something odd about its speed. He figured out this monster was extremely tough and could take a lot of hits, but he was curious why it moved so slowly. He wondered if its slow movement speed was somehow connected to its massive amount of health points. Meanwhile, someone else was surprised that Hyomu Hyan turned down free food, thinking something really big must have happened to him. The person was convinced that only something truly insane could make Hyun act so out of character. Back in the dungeon, the main character was impressed by his own dragon's dignity skill, a legendary power that made enemies take 10% more damage from all attacks. He found it hard to hide his excitement about such an amazing skill. He also knew his long toss skill would boost the magic damage he dealt. He shouted fireball and launched a fiery attack, noting it was his 22nd successful hit. After defeating the stench-drunken orc, he thought he would have gotten donations if he streamed, but he couldn't reveal his true power yet. He looked around the gloomy area, asking himself if this was finally the boss room. He pushed open a large door, and a bright light shone from the room beyond, showing the way forward. As he stepped inside, a terrible smell hit him, making him feel dizzy and weak. A message confirmed he was feeling faint from the foul stench. A notification warned him that all his stats were reduced by 10% because of the smell. The rotting orc boss woke up from its sleep, and he realized it was an undead monster. He knew this big boss was the only thing stopping him from getting a legendary skill card. Elsewhere, another player shouted excitedly about finding a unique item. Other players were surprised and asked who found the amazing item. The happy player proudly announced he got a unique ring. He was so happy he offered to buy lunch for everyone, saying it had been ages since he found a unique item. He then asked Hyun if he wanted to order anything, but Hyun looked exhausted and simply said he didn't need anything. Hyun asked if they could help him get back into the game, and another player quickly agreed to help. Back in the dungeon, the main character felt no fear, confidently attacking the boss with a powerful burst of fire. He realized he still had about 2 seconds of free time after casting his spells from a distance, so he launched another powerful fireball. He observed that the direct hit didn't do much damage to the boss, confirming that a boss was indeed a tough opponent. He stared up at the massive boss, knowing it would take some time to defeat it. Even with the challenge, he was completely confident that he would have no problem killing the boss in the end. The guy in the wheelchair asked his friend, "Oh, Hyun, what are you doing?" His friend, who was on his phone, replied that he was just working. The friend was happy and said he was in a good mood because his work was going great. But then, the guy in the wheelchair sighed and wondered if his friend would ever get married. The friend told him not to worry so much and just focus on hiring. He also thought to himself that things were actually going well and he wouldn't need to worry about money for months after selling some game information and items. Later, while playing his game, the man saw a notification that his pet, Lucky, was about to evolve. It showed a message about overflowing energy and new skills after hitting 444 monsters. He was surprised because he thought divine beasts needed a lot of experience points to evolve, not just hitting a specific number of monsters. This made him realize that all the rumors about needing to hunt 5,000 monsters were wrong. He then understood that last hitting 444 monsters was a hidden condition and decided to sell this super important info to the game community later. He hugged Lucky, calling him his lucky charm. He happily imagined Lucky becoming super strong after evolving, even thinking it might help him defeat the tough Slayer orc all by himself. He then left, believing he wouldn't need to team up with other players. Walking past a store, he was still sure that with just Lucky, he could do anything. Lucky's paw tapped on the ground, ready for action. He greeted Lucky warmly and told him it was time to go hunting. He also thought about how he needed to keep his in-game identity, Mita's, a secret for now, to avoid trouble. Lucky barked excitedly, and the man assured him that he was all he needed. Suddenly, a big question mark appeared in front of Lucky, making the man wonder what was happening. He started thinking that sharing such important game info carelessly could be really bad, not just for him, but maybe even for his family in the real world. He worried that this information could even affect the real world if he wasn't careful. So he decided to clear his current quest first, and then he would plan how to share the info safely. As he focused on his goal, his adventure continued. Back in his room, he looked at his phone, wondering if everything would be okay. Suddenly, in the game, a huge, scary monster appeared, making him shout in surprise. The monster, a huge orc, ranted about a weapon that could end a myth. The man was annoyed, wishing these monsters would give a warning before starting big events. Just then, a woman named Sakhalin appeared out of nowhere and told him to relax, which surprised him. Sakhalin asked him if he wanted to know more about the weapon, offering to share all her knowledge if he did a favor for her. Right after, a new main story quest popped up. The quest was to hunt the Slayer Orc, with a reward of Sakhalin's ring and a special title called Knowing the Almighty class. He was amazed to find out this meant a legendary mythic item actually existed. He remembered a press conference for the game God Wars where a reporter asked if any item stronger than a legendary one existed. The developer seemed unsure how to answer. The developer just chuckled and said it might exist, but his reply didn't sound very confident. After that, no one ever found a mythic item, so everyone thought it was just a made-up story. But now, seeing the quest, he knew for sure that the mythic item was real. He felt super excited, hoping to get a special skill as a reward. He pumped himself up and asked Lucky if they could do it. Lucky barked back, and they both charged into the forest, ready for the challenge. He reminded himself that hitting 400 monsters with the last blow would take time, but they still needed to try their best. He then pointed to a monster, ready to begin. He decided to try out a legendary skill he got from Miss Sakhalin, which was his third one. He raised his hand, gathering a fiery spell. Usually, he just threw spells randomly, but today he planned to use Dragon's Eye carefully. This skill let him see enemy weak points, making his magic attacks hit extra hard there. He recalled what the game community said about the Slayer Orc. It was tough to beat and didn't give good rewards. Yet, many players still tried to fight it. The Slayer Orc was seen as a trophy in the game, something you had to beat to be known as a new strong player. It was like a must-do thing for rookies. Looking at his phone, he realized the Slayer Orc was super tough, with a very high raid difficulty. He knew then that trying to beat it alone right now was impossible. He wondered if he finally had to join a party to defeat it. Later, Sakhalin found him staring hard at his phone and said he had amazingly found where a nameless god had been. He tried to tell Sakhalin something, but she just brushed him off, saying he worked fast. She then threw him a skill book as a gift, joking that it might be too strong for him. He kept trying to speak, saying that wasn't the main point, but Sakhalin just said she liked things to move fast. She then correctly guessed he wanted to know about the strange words the dying orc had said. Sakhalin called him a simpleton and explained that the orc's words were because it held a special boss title with amazing effects. She confirmed the orc was indeed talking about something very powerful. A huge, scary orc monster with glowing red eyes raises its axe, ready to strike anything in its path. Usually, a magic attacker like him shouldn't attack until the big, strong tanker characters get the monster's attention first. But the main character wonders what if there was a special skill that could make the monster focus on someone else, even in the middle of a fight. So he calls out to Lucky. Lucky, a brave wolf, lets out a loud howl, drawing the big orc's attention away from the main character. Lucky uses a legendary skill called Mortal Combat, which makes the challenged enemy unable to attack anyone else but Lucky himself. The orc monster becomes very angry and focuses its attacks on Lucky, completely ignoring the main character, who is further away. This special skill is super helpful because it's usually really tough for magic attackers to do their job against strong monsters without getting hurt. With this trick, Lucky can distract the enemy while the main character deals damage, meaning they won't need a heavy-duty tanker, no matter how strong they get. The orc roars and stomps its feet, still angrily focused on Lucky, and the main character thinks this strategy might actually work out. He remembers how much hard work he put into practicing, feeling like he's been throwing a perfect pitch his entire life. He puts all his effort into the game, remembering his friend Hyunwoo, who must have had a tough day too. In the real world, his friend Hyukju sees him looking tired and asks if he's okay, telling him to cheer up. Hyukju then asks if he has visited the fishy forest lately, saying there are rumors the bad smell there has gone away a bit. The main character, Hyunwoo, is surprised to hear about the smell fading. He wonders if the smell disappeared because he defeated the boss in the hidden dungeon. Realizing his actions in the game are actually changing the real world, he gets worried that if this keeps happening, other players might notice that someone is quickly finishing all the main story quests. He decides he must defeat the Slayer Orc as fast as he can, while nearby other players gossip about someone trying to fight it alone. One of the players says it's impossible to beat the Orc's third stage, called Slaughter Mode, by yourself, as a tanker is super important at higher levels. Back in the game, the main character unleashes a powerful burst of fire magic against the monster. The Slayer Orc now glows red, entering its dangerous new phase while Lucky continues to distract it. His game companion yells at Lucky to run, warning them that they have reached the third phase of the fight. He knows that as players become more powerful, having a strong tanker becomes even more crucial for survival. But he doesn't give up, focusing all his energy and power for this important moment in the battle. This part of the story gives some information about the comics creators and publishing details. Meanwhile, members of a group called the Heinz Party are sitting around a campfire talking about things. They are talking about their guild signing a hot new rising star and how they are hunting the Slayer Orc with only 3 people. Suddenly, a game message announces that the Slayer Orc has emerged, and the players wonder about their turn to fight it. Someone shouts that another player is apparently trying to defeat the powerful orc all by themselves, making everyone curious about who it could be. Dark clouds swirl around the mountainous area, creating a dramatic and intense atmosphere for the battle. The real world, Yahello mentions the rules of party play and asks if there are still players who rely on their sense of smell in the fishy forest. He continues to joke about how some people in the world are quite strange, while Yahello simply listens. Back in the game, the main character's attacks hit hard, and he has achieved many kills during the fight. Lucky's body begins to glow brightly, showing that he is filled with incredible, powerful energy. Lucky is transforming and evolving, surrounded by a radiant light as he gains a new form. The main character successfully aims his magic at the monster's weak point, landing a powerful critical hit. He is completely shocked that he managed to defeat the orc with just one hit, gaining a new title and a special rune. He looks on with a pleased expression, amazed by the huge damage he dealt and the title he received. Lucky happily asks what he thought, and the main character realizes he forgot to let Lucky get the final blow, promising to do so next time. His real-world friend, Yahello, just gives a simple nod, not fully grasping the amazing things Yahello is achieving in the game. The terrifying Slayer Orc lets out a pained roar, clearly hurting badly from the main character's strong attacks. The main character and Lucky continue their intense fight against the large orc, preparing for another big move. He launches a fiery fireball from the farthest possible distance, making the damage even stronger, and hits the orc's weak point for a critical strike. He looks determined, noting that it won't be long until they reach phase 3 of the battle. Meanwhile, other players below are excited and gather to watch the person trying to solo the difficult Slayer Orc. Lucky howls loudly once more as he receives a brand new power directly from a powerful god. The main character gets to choose what new power Lucky will gain and happily greets his loyal wolf companion. He proudly calls Lucky his luckiest dog in the game, appreciating his pet's amazing strength. As new power cards float around, he realizes that Lucky might not be the best name for his companion after all. He thinks Lucky should really be called Cheeky because of how incredibly powerful the skill they just got is. He is amazed it even appeared here. He now believes he can defeat the Slayer Orc by himself with this new skill, remembering that the game God Wars doesn't have an auto-aim system. He understands that while hitting accurately is good, usually just hitting the monster anywhere is enough to do damage. But for him, things are different now. The special effect of Dragon's Eye activates, making his aim super precise. Another skill, Long Toss, also activates, showing him the exact distance to the monster, like 37 meters, then 39. He plans to hit the monster's weakest spot from the farthest possible distance to get the most impact. By doing this, he can make his attacks as strong as possible by combining all his passive skills, leading to a massive explosion of damage. A man named Hyunju was on the phone, looking worried, hoping nothing bad had happened again. Suddenly, a child's voice called out "Uncle." His sister on the phone told him his niece, Hyrin, had won an award for something she drew. Hyunju looked surprised and happy. His sister explained that Hyrin wanted to tell her uncle first, which made Hyunju even happier. He excitedly asked if Hyrin got first place in preschool. His sister corrected him, saying Hyrin won the grand prize in the entire city and was even going to the provincial competition. Everyone around them clapped. Hyunju was completely amazed, exclaiming that they needed to celebrate. He quickly told his sister to tell Hyrin that tonight's dinner would be delicious fried chicken. Hyrin's eyes lit up with joy at the mention of fried chicken. The scene then shifted to an old story about a warrior who was famous for never losing a battle. This warrior always won big for the god he followed, making his enemies scared and his friends look up to him. But even with all his wins, the big war never stopped. He found out that no matter how many battles he won, it was just impossible to end the war of the gods completely. He looked at the powerful rings on his fingers. A woman in the story explained that even with all the legendary items, ending the war was impossible. The man listening to the story swallowed hard, understanding the challenge. That's why the warrior started looking for something much stronger, something that could be even better than any legend. He wanted to find something that could finally bring the long war to an end, forever. The story then moved to a quiet, old-fashioned town, perhaps where the player character now resides in the game. A girl greeted the player character, surprised he was back so soon and looked completely unharmed, even though he was panting from effort. The player's loyal wolf companion was also panting, and the player affectionately patted him, praising him for a good job. The girl, Miss Sakhalin, first playfully said he didn't deserve to hear about the Almighty if the task was easy, but then decided to reward him for finishing the mission. She made green light glow from her hand. The green light energy swirled and flowed from Miss Sakhalin toward the player, indicating a magical reward was being given. The player received a new title called Knowing the Almighty, which sounded very powerful. This new title gave him an amazing weapon that could even defeat a god. Miss Sakhalin then asked if he wanted to hear more of the story about this power. The player was incredibly excited and shouted yes, of course. He really wanted to know all the details. Miss Sakhalin then gave him a familiar task again: defeat 1,000 zombies in the cursed forest. The player seemed to have expected this kind of mission. A new main story quest appeared on the player's screen, asking him to investigate the cursed forest and defeat 1,000 monsters there. The player just shrugged, thinking he'd just have to find the monster that holds the quest item. Meanwhile, Hyunju was happily talking on the phone, laughing that Hyerin was now conflicted. Hyerin couldn't decide if she wanted plain fried chicken or the sweet and spicy sauce. Hyunju suddenly remembered that they hadn't been well off enough for him to buy her whatever she wanted, but quickly decided it didn't matter and they should get everything. Hyerin called out uncle. Happily, back in the game, the player declared that he would kill all 1,000 monsters, then decided it was time to head home. Another player thought that Hyunju was an angel for trying his best even with his account suspended. Just then, a notification popped up for a new video on Wars TV. The next day, Hyunju was at the Hunter Capsule building, likely getting ready to play the game again. Inside the game, the player found Sakhalin's ring, which was an incredibly powerful item. It gave huge boosts to all stats, attack damage, and HP and MP regeneration. The player was thrilled with the ring, thinking it was amazing, and showed it off to his wolf companion, Lucky. Miss Sakhalin told him to stop making a silly face and get to the important part of the story. She continued, explaining that after the gods began using the world's creations for war, countless followers rushed into battle for their deities. Among them, some managed to achieve truly legendary results on the battlefield, but there was one warrior whose achievements were so extraordinary that no one else could even come close to matching them. A powerful, fiery attack slashed across the screen, indicating intense action. The player successfully killed the Slayer Orc and was rewarded with the title Slayer Orc Hunter. He also received another title, the one who soloed the Slayer Orc, confirming he had completed the quest and leveled up. The player was happy to have gotten the item, but then a giant RUN message appeared, signaling immediate danger. The game screen showed the new quest details for the Cursed Forest. The player asked Miss Sakhalin if he really needed to kill all 1,000 monsters. Miss Sakhalin asked if he didn't want to, but the player quickly said he loved it, revealing his true enthusiasm for the challenge. Back in the real world, the player character was outside a restaurant, grumbling that the game was a trash game. He sat in a capsule cafe, sighing that killing 1,000 zombies would take him forever. His friend, Hyunju, told him that he got a call earlier from his Hyeon. Hyunju woke up from his game capsule, and Hyunju greeted him good morning. Hyunju returned the greeting, and Hyunju asked what he was staring at so intently first thing in the morning. Hyunju explained there was a trending video on Wars TV about a rich guy who solo killed a boss because he had super expensive gear. Hyunju complained that rich players ruined the game, comparing it to racing a supercar. He then asked which boss the rich player had killed. Hyunju casually replied that the boss was the Slayer Orc, leaving Hyunju completely stunned, as he had just soloed that very boss himself. Midas was busy looking at his phone, checking the market in his game. He wondered if he should just leak some game videos himself, because rich players always cause trouble. Midas's friend suggested he might be a nice guy, but Midas just felt worried about getting into trouble. He remembered someone once saying he might get electrocuted if he wasn't careful. Midas told his friend to get things ready for him. He was going to jump back into the game and continue his adventures. In the game, Midas met a man named Yoshi who needed a favor. Yoshi explained he needed Midas to collect 100 curse traces from zombies. This was a special quest, promising a unique skill book as a reward, and Midas quickly agreed to help Yoshi. It was like following the advice of a famous player named Asmo, who once shared the secret to leveling up quickly. Asmo's simple advice was to wear special gear and then go find monsters much stronger than you. He said to hunt them in a scary place like the Cursed Forest, where it's easy to get surrounded. Midas was doing just that, fighting a zombie orc in the Cursed Forest with his ice arrow, increasing his skill rank. This particular forest was known as a hunting ground that most players preferred to avoid. Midas and his wolf, Lucky, were busy hunting, getting closer to their goal of 1,000 items, currently at 74. As they moved through the dark forest, Midas noticed someone lying hurt on the ground. Midas quickly went to check on the person, asking if they were okay. The injured man was surprised to see Midas, asking who he was. Midas introduced himself as an explorer from Wiga and kindly offered his help, whether it was finding lost things or acting as a bodyguard, and he didn't even want payment. His wolf, Lucky, seemed happy and bounced around him. Midas thought they should have collected many more items by now, but Lucky kept getting distracted. Just then, Lucky sniffed something interesting in the air. Lucky had found a rare black herb worth a lot of money. Midas was super excited and knew he couldn't leave such a valuable find behind. While Midas harvested the herb, Lucky found something else hidden in the grass. Midas jokingly told Lucky that if he kept finding treasures, Midas might end up serving him instead. Midas explained his strategy was to use powerful legendary skills to hunt and defeat strong monsters all by himself. He then showed this by taking down another zombie orc, which helped him level up. Midas confirmed he was following the high-level advice, and they had already collected 200 items, which he thought made leveling up very easy. He praised Lucky for a good job and decided it was time for a break. Lucky, however, kept sniffing around and then suddenly ran off, barking loudly. Meanwhile, a streamer called Wars TV was talking about a new video that showed Midas and Lucky fighting a powerful orc. The streamer used this video to complain about how much money people spend to win in the game. The streamer pointed out that Lucky was acting like a strong shield for Midas, and viewers were arguing if someone without such an expensive helper could even beat that monster. The video had a huge number of views. Midas, who had wanted to stay hidden, realized Lucky had caught another scent, almost like he was ignoring Midas's orders. Midas remembered a message from an NPC named Jack, who promised a great reward if he met him in week after hunting zombies. Jack's quest also offered a rare skill book. Midas found it odd that he hadn't seen any other players, even though the Explorer Guild was supposed to be strong in this area. He hadn't seen many guild members on his journey there. Midas asked Lucky if they should open the unique skill book they got from Yoshi, and Lucky barked in agreement. So, Midas began to open the special skill card book. Lucky barked once more, almost like he was saying it was time to get back to work and keep grinding for more items. Soon, they arrived in the city of Wiga, where Yoshi was waiting. Yoshi complimented Midas, saying he was stronger than he looked for clearing out all the zombies and prepared to give him the promised reward. Midas happily collected all his quest rewards, including a very useful Fire Elemental Mastery skill card. This new skill would make his fire magic much stronger and faster. The president was looking out over the city. He then asked his secretary, "Don't you think offering $10,000 was too much?" Before that, he proudly mentioned he graduated from the Wharton School. The president thought that the ArchMage streamer's skills were not special and believed he just spent a lot of money on gear and cheat skills. He asked if his secretary agreed and wondered why someone would spend so much money on the game. Meanwhile, in the game, the main character was shocked and asked, "Is this a system error?" He panicked, stuck in place, and tried to leave. He told Miss Sakhalin that he had worked hard to kill 1,000 zombies. Miss Sakhalin looked at him without much reaction. The main character still thought it was a system error. He decided he should log out and log back in, but Miss Sakhalin stopped him. Then she offered to give him some help, saying it was clear he would bumble around without it. He happily accepted her help. Miss Sakhalin secretly thought that she should properly take advantage of him. The main character stood in a dark, stormy area and bravely called out, "Come at me." He used his ballista skill, which made his magic damage go up as long as he didn't move. His magic hit the enemy at max range and landed on a weak spot, making his attack much stronger. He cheered for his successful hit. He successfully defeated all the zombie orcs and completed the main quest. Back at the office, President Park believed the streamer had to be a multimillionaire, so $10,000 was nothing to get close to such a person. He smirked, announcing that they had received a message from the streamer. President Park predicted the message would be from a company, not an individual, and he was right. The message was from ArchMage Entertainment. He proudly said he was a Wharton School graduate and then asked his secretary what their response was. The secretary said the offer was being reviewed seriously. President Park smirked again, pleased, and said, "Okay, let's start then." Later, another character was surprised Jin had played for 4 hours and 44 minutes without a break, noting that 4 is an unlucky number in Korea. He asked if Jin was okay, but Jin looked overwhelmed. Jin shouted that he was going insane, but from happiness, not anything bad. He was overjoyed because he had received the ballista skill, which he saw listed for nearly $13,000 online. The ballista skill made his magic attacks much stronger if he didn't move, and also made his spells cast faster with less waiting time. This meant he could deal huge damage by standing still, and he actually didn't want to sell it. He also had many direct messages because of his recent Slayer Orc solo kill video. He checked his messages and saw several offers, including one from casting and another from AT TV for an exclusive video contract. Then he saw a $10,000 exclusive video offer from Rising Star and thought it was a joke, mistaking it for $100. He quickly realized it was indeed $10,000 and was surprised. His pet wolf howled on command for him. He was about to get a unique skill card and prayed for something really good. His eyes glowed as a lucky cheat key appeared, revealing a new skill. He obtained the double casting skill, which allowed him to cast 2 spells at the same time. Ms. Sakhalin asked him what he thought after defeating 1,000 monsters. He explained that the bad smell in the forest came from a rotting orc at the nameless god's altar. He then wondered if the cursed forest was always controlled by a nameless god. Ms. Sakhalin praised his thinking, and Jin secretly expected his next quest to be about defeating a boss monster in the cursed forest. She gave him a new task to find out why the forest was cursed, and Jin anticipated a great reward for his hard work. A new main quest appeared with a $10,000 reward, which Jin first thought was a prank. He then realized it was a real account verification from the Rising Star channel. The Rising Star channel was known for its quality videos, good advertising, and for featuring rising newbies, which helped it quickly gain subscribers. Jin thought that with this contract, he wouldn't have to worry about selling his ballista skill anymore. He decided not to reply immediately because he wanted to appear cool, not too eager to sell his video. Back in the office, President Park explained that the ArchMage was doing solo challenges to get attention, not because he couldn't just pay for a level-up service. He asked his secretary for his opinion, but the secretary was unsure. President Park then declared it was all for attention. President Park believed that someone so desperate for attention would surely accept a special offer from a famous channel like theirs. He asked his secretary how the ArchMage would react and confidently said he would accept. President Park then outlined his plan. They would meet for a meal and a drink, and once they got closer, he would present a business proposal. The ArchMage streamer happily told some guild members that he was safe because they worked hard day and night. The guild members looked at him, confused and wondering if he was secretly making fun of them. The ArchMage streamer then gave them some special pink potions to help with stress while they worked. He explained that these were like coffee, which wasn't available in their current location. One guild member wondered if the potion was expensive, looking a bit unsure. The ArchMage streamer just laughed loudly, saying he was super thankful to them for making his gaming easy and insisted they take the gifts. The ArchMage streamer knew this wouldn't be his only big chance and believed it was his opportunity to become a star. He was determined to win a challenge by himself no matter what. He knew he had to complete a solo kill, no matter the challenge. Suddenly, he noticed 2 guild members asking if they were from the Explorer Guild. A white divine beast, looking like a wolf, appeared by his side, making the guild members realize he was the famous ArchMage streamer. He calmly asked if there was a problem as they looked at him with wide eyes. In another place, a guy excitedly told his friend to listen, saying people were going crazy on eBay. His friend, busy on a computer, stopped and asked what was happening. The excited friend explained that a double casting skill card had appeared for sale, which was a huge deal because none had been available for months. He wondered who else could have gotten such a rare, tradable card. When he heard the card was selling for a shocking $60,000, his friend was completely stunned. This high price showed how item values had finally settled down after the game God Wars first launched. Far away, a terrible, echoing scream filled the air, hinting at something dangerous happening. 2 players were running away from monsters, frustrated that their tank died so quickly. A monster growled loudly as a mysterious purple hand of energy appeared from nowhere. The powerful purple energy hit one of the monsters, making it cry out in fear before it collapsed to the ground. In an office, a president explained to his colleague why he chose to offer $12,950 instead of $15,000 for a contract. He said a higher round number often makes people feel they are just getting what they deserve. He believed that an exact, slightly lower number would make people think the company was genuinely trying its best to pay them fairly. As a graduate of the Wharton School, he was confident in his understanding of human psychology and business. The ArchMage streamer had just equipped the expensive Slayer Orc set, and its special effects instantly activated. He mentioned that he always wanted this set, even though it cost a lot of money. Back in the office, the president confirmed sending a video contract to the ArchMage streamer, offering $12,950 for a recording of him solo killing the Ragged Sorcerer. They then discussed if it was even possible for him to win with his current equipment. The colleague pointed out that the Ragged Sorcerer was much harder and different from the Slayer Orc, making a solo kill seem practically impossible. The president just smiled hinting that his plan relied on the ArchMage streamer's known personality. The president confidently predicted that the streamer would accept the challenge, then spend at least $50,000 on new skills and items to win. He believed this would get the streamer to invest heavily in the game. The president's plan was to create a spending relationship where both sides invested in each other. The ArchMage streamer, however, knew he could resell equipment later, but he still decided to buy new skills. He looked at his newly acquired rare skills, Lightning Bolt and Fire Spear, surprised that he had spent money on them. He hugged his wolf companion, saying he had poured all his savings into these, so he absolutely had to succeed at the solo kill. He explained to his wolf that he sold all his unused skills and items for money because the contract email from Rising Star was actually a test. It was a test to see if ArchMage streamer was a player worth investing in for the long run. Other players spotted the ArchMage streamer with his divine beast, chatting friendly with members of the Explorer Guild. They gossiped, saying the rumors about him using the Explorer Guild's VIP service must be real, which explained his surprisingly fast leveling. Other players warned that messing with the ArchMage streamer was dangerous because the Explorer Guild would punish anyone who bothered him. The ArchMage streamer just laughed, thinking this public perception was exactly what he wanted. He strategically gave out free potions while others watched, making it look like he was protected by the powerful Explorer Guild. He knew this protection was just an illusion created by 2 cheap potions, and it would only last for about a week. He realized he had to finish his solo attempt within that short time frame. It was hard to put a value on skill cards like Fireball or Blink because their true worth was only clear after thorough testing and research. However, there were a few rare exceptions, like the double casting skill card, which was clearly good and sold for a huge $60,000 on eBay. Another character thought that if the double casting skill he had acquired was tradable, he might have had a hard time deciding what to do with it. A special strength skill card popped up for the ArchMage streamer, which can make both physical and magic attacks stronger for battle mages. He looked at it, wondering what it was. He thought it might be good for his wolf, Lucky, but then wondered if he, as a mage, would actually need it for himself. He looked at the strength card again and noticed it also boosts the range of spells. Meanwhile, a group of adventurers nearby was arguing about wasting their time just hunting. One of them was told to stop wasting energy because there was no one around strong enough to kill an orc in one go. Suddenly, they noticed something in the distance. Someone shouted that ArchMage streamer was going to try to defeat the ragged sorcerer all by himself, and everyone was surprised because he was the one who famously beat the Slayer orc alone. Everyone got excited, realizing they couldn't miss watching this popular streamer on War STV. The ArchMage streamer then started his recording, ready to begin his show. A zombie monster appeared, and it looked like the target the other group of adventurers was hunting. The adventurers confirmed that only one zombie was left, but one of them was still nervous, remembering how they almost died last time when too many monsters rushed them. The archer reassured them, saying he used his eagle eye skill and only found that one zombie within 50 meters, so they decided to just hunt it. Suddenly, a huge fireball hit the zombie with great force, surprising the adventurers who had just confirmed no one was nearby. They were confused, as no one in their party used fire magic, and their archer was sure nothing was within 50 meters. They finally realized the fireball had come from a super long distance, more than 50 meters away. The powerful fireball traveled a far distance before hitting its target. The ArchMage streamer, who cast the fireball, was quite surprised himself. He had picked the strength skill not expecting much, but now saw it made his magic fly about 80 meters, much farther than before. The fireball totally blasted the zombie, showing off its incredible power. The ArchMage streamer calmly stated that the real fight was just beginning. The powerful ragged sorcerer appeared, surrounded by a dark and menacing aura. The sorcerer unleashed a shadowy attack. The ArchMage streamer was amazed at how well the strength skill combined with his other abilities like Long Toss, Dragon's Eye, and Ballista. He was also happy that Lucky had hunted a zombie orc, which boosted Lucky's power. He thought he would need to rethink all his strategies. The ArchMage streamer figured his magic range was now about 100 meters, especially with Lucky's battle help. Lucky, however, looked a bit tired. He then wondered if it was actually too easy for him to defeat the ragged sorcerer at his current level. The other group of adventurers was really angry, realizing their monster had been stolen right from under their noses by the ArchMage streamer. The ArchMage streamer greeted his viewers, announcing that he was here to fight the ragged sorcerer all by himself. He confirmed his plan to solo the ragged sorcerer, who stood ready for battle. He smiled, telling his audience it wouldn't be fun if he just defeated the monster easily. Instead, he planned to beat the Ragged Sorcerer without taking a single hit, showing off his amazing skills, and he even thanked Lucky for being there. Suddenly, he leveled up to level 30, and all his health and mana were refilled, making him jokingly complain about having a potion ready for nothing. A system message popped up, giving him a chance to grow, so he decided to pick another card to feel even better. He found a unique rank card. He felt he didn't really need anything extra to fight the Ragged Sorcerer, but thought an extra attack spell would be a nice bonus. Though he didn't explicitly need it, he asked Lucky, who looked a bit worn out, what he thought about it. He unleashed powerful lightning bolt and fire spear spells, attacking multiple zombies at once. The ArchMage streamer easily took down another zombie orc with his magic, proving his strength. He then noticed his mana was already below 10%, so he quickly used a mana recovery potion. He wondered how many potions he would need because casting so many spells non-stop, especially with double casting, was using up a lot of his mana. As Lucky got ready for more action, the streamer used his special Dragon's Eye skill to see the Ragged Sorcerer about 60 meters away. He told everyone watching that he was going to be like a big, unmoving cannon and attack. He then used skills called Ballista and Long Toss to launch a fiery attack. He said he would show everyone some super hot, burning damage. A huge explosion of fire burst out, showing just how much power was in his attack. It looked like something that shouldn't even be possible for his level. The Ragged Sorcerer screamed loudly as it took a lot of damage from the intense fiery attack. Meanwhile, another player was hiding and saw all this. He looked really scared, like he couldn't believe what he was seeing. Two other players hiding with him got annoyed, asking if he was trying to get them caught. He quickly said sorry, explaining he was just really surprised by the streamer's power. Luckily, the streamer didn't notice them. They talked about how he just dealt a massive amount of damage and figured he was just super focused on the fight. One of the hidden players asked if the other was confident about getting the last hit. He replied, "Of course," saying the boss was already in its second phase and he had a good idea of the streamer's spell cooldowns. The Ragged Sorcerer was shown glowing with a dark purple energy. Back at home, a girl with long hair greeted the streamer, telling him he was finally back. The streamer was panting hard, saying he almost peed himself from the intense fight. His dog, Lucky, wagged its tail happily next to him. He was thankful his trick worked in the end, allowing him to successfully defeat the boss by himself. He felt very proud, knowing he actually managed to do it. Then, he looked at the girl and asked if she did what he had asked her to do. She confirmed she had, explaining that she gave the cursed stone to NPC Sakhalin. She believed this stone was the reason why the forest was cursed. Sakhalin took the glowing green cursed stone, examining it carefully. It showed the Ragged Sorcerer surrounded by dark energy and lightning, with the sound of a dog barking. The streamer's dog, Lucky, barked bravely as it faced the monsters. Lucky furiously attacked the Ragged Sorcerer and another monster, showing its strength in battle. Lucky moved quickly, dodging attacks and biting the monsters effectively. The streamer was happy with Lucky, saying his dog was doing a great job stopping the sorcerer from casting spells. He then activated double casting and decided this was his chance to trap the sorcerer. He used both an ice arrow and a lightning bolt spell, clearing out most of the smaller enemies and closing the gap between himself and the Ragged Sorcerer. He looked at the glowing red shard on his hand, which was still giving off a faint green aura. Sakhalin looked at him, pleased that he had managed to find the truth about the cursed stone. She then gave him a new staff which glowed with a magical green light as it appeared in his hand. The streamer was shocked to see the staff's incredible stats, like a huge boost to intelligence and magic power, faster casting, and reduced cooldowns. He exclaimed, "Holy crap!" Sakhalin explained that the shard in his hand was rejecting his magic because it was still connected to its true owner. Back to the fight, the streamer was now hitting the Ragged Sorcerer with an axe while Lucky barked. He kept attacking the Ragged Sorcerer fiercely with his axe, dealing powerful blows that made the monster recoil. The hidden players were completely baffled, wondering why a magician was fighting with an axe and dealing so much damage. They realized this aggressive style would leave no chance for them to sneak in for the last hit. A message popped up confirming that he had killed the Ragged Sorcerer. He let out a sigh, feeling refreshed, and gained a new title, Ragged Sorcerer Hunter. He also earned another title, the one who soloed the Ragged Sorcerer. He then asked his viewers what they thought of his special move, attacking like crazy with an axe, boosted by his high strength. He thanked everyone for watching. He also gave a shout out to the members of the Explorer Guild who watched as witnesses. The hidden players, hearing this, were completely stunned. They realized that if they had been caught trying to steal the kill, they might have to quit the game. They were shocked he wasn't alone, which made sense why he was so confident and wild. They grumbled, calling him a rich guy who just used money to make things happen. Meanwhile, the streamer smiled, thinking to himself that his scarecrow trick had worked perfectly. The streamer happily confirmed that his scarecrow trick, a decoy or bluff, had worked just as he planned. Later, back in a peaceful town, the streamer held his staff and asked Sakhalin if the shard he had found had an owner. Sakhalin confirmed that it did, explaining that it was still connected to its real owner. She told him she would need to make a compass to find them. She then gave him a new task, to go to the Dorito mines and find a blacksmith named Zuga, starting a new main quest. Back with the hidden players, one of them planned their next move, to get ready when the Ragged Sorcerer entered its third phase and used zombie assembly. This, he said, would be their only chance. He explained that zombie assembly was the sorcerer's ultimate move, gathering all nearby zombies. These zombies would only attack players who had already hit the sorcerer. Indeed, all the zombies wandering around the area began to gather and head toward the streamer. The streamer announced that they were now in Phase 3. He had dealt more damage than he expected, reaching this phase faster than planned. He knew very well that the hidden players were getting ready to steal his kill. He made it clear he wouldn't give anything to thieves who wanted an easy win. He grinned and declared that he would now reveal his ultimate move, his fifth magic spell, which he had been hiding. The hidden players smirked, thinking the streamer was an idiot for preparing his final move without realizing they were there. They got ready to make their move. Suddenly, one of them looked completely surprised and confused, asking, "Huh? What the?" He watched in disbelief as the streamer, instead of casting a spell, charged directly at the monster, looking determined to fight up close. An email from BJ ArchMage Entertainment has arrived, and it includes a video attachment with a note saying the sender hopes the video gives good results. Someone asks about that last sentence, wondering if it means something more, maybe like a test for them. They discuss what's different in this new video compared to the previous one about the Annihilator Orc, noting ArchMage's updated items and new skills. Among the new skills, double casting is particularly highlighted as a very important addition. They recall that double casting was unlisted from an auction on eBay even though its price reached $100,000, likely due to a private offer. They quickly figure out that the mysterious buyer must have been BJ ArchMage, connecting all the dots. ArchMage didn't hesitate to invest over $100,000 to boost his power, then sent this solo kill video, making the whole theory very solid. They wonder if ArchMage's message, "I hope that the video I've sent gives good results," is just a polite wish or a hidden warning about the video quality. One person suggests re-editing the old Annihilator Orc video and putting more effort into promoting both. The other agrees, stating that if their guest, the ArchMage, is wild, they should also be treated with the same energy. As expected, ArchMage believes the best magic is melee magic and is ready to tackle things in his own wild way. The story then shifts to the Dorito Mines, a vast and rugged area known for its challenges. This mine is a hunting ground for mid-level players, but since there are no regular monsters, players must enter special instance dungeons to level up. This system makes it hard for players who can't form parties, as they get left behind one by one. Even if they find a party, situations arise where a 6-person team finds a 5-person dungeon, leading to the weakest or lowest contributor being excluded. Essentially, the Dorito Mines serves as a harsh testing ground in the game God Wars to find the truly skilled players. The ArchMage recalls how he used to be the one getting excluded from teams, but he feels confident that his situation is completely different now. He then receives a main scenario quest to find a dwarf blacksmith named Zuga and use a cursed stone to make a compass. Upon meeting Zuga, the ArchMage politely introduces himself as an adventurer sent by Lady Sakhalin, explaining why he's there. He tells Zuba he needs a compass made from a cursed stone, mentioning he heard Zuba is the best for the job, but Zuba immediately starts complaining about Lady Sakhalin's personality. The ArchMage tries to be diplomatic, but Zuga is convinced Lady Sakhalin must have given him a ridiculous task, which makes the ArchMage think this NPC might be easy to handle. The ArchMage admits he had some trouble but quickly adds that Lady Sakhalin must have had her reasons, which delights Zuga, who praises his excellent character. Zuba then shows the ArchMage a necklace made of soul metal, a rare mineral found only in that area. He explains the necklace only responds to a specific magic of its owner, and when the ArchMage asks if he needs to mine the metal, Zuba quickly offers to do it himself. The ArchMage is pleased, thinking Zuga is very cooperative, but then Zuga asks him to clear just 111 instance dungeons as a condition. The ArchMage's good impression instantly vanishes, realizing Zuga is anything but easy, and lets out a deep sigh. He then starts disliking Zuga, questioning his unusual name and why the number of dungeons has to be exactly 111 instead of a nice round 100. Sighing again, the ArchMage decides to just record himself solo clearing the dungeons for content, and then calls out to his wolf companion, Lucky. Lucky, his wolf companion, responds with a bark, ready to follow his master's command. The ArchMage jokingly asks if Lucky means he'll carry him, then affectionately calls Lucky you pretty thing. Before they start, the ArchMage begins to apply various buffs to Lucky, preparing him for the upcoming challenge. Lucky consumes several potions and items, temporarily boosting its maximum health, strength, and speed for the battle ahead. The ArchMage feels a little worried, wondering if the buffs are enough, especially since Lucky needs to solo kill 99 monsters to evolve. He decides to keep his skill ready just in case, ensuring Lucky won't get hurt even if he can't complete the solo kills on his own. Lucky growls fiercely, facing off against two minor kobolds, ready to attack. Lucky quickly defeats one of the kobolds, surprising the ArchMage, who wonders if Lucky might be capable of fighting alone after all. With a powerful attack, Lucky takes down another minor kobold, proving its strength. Seeing Lucky defeat another monster, the ArchMage realizes he was worrying too much and praises Lucky for doing a good job, telling him to keep going. Lucky defeats one more minor kobold, reaching the 99th kill and fulfilling its evolution condition. A blue glow envelops Lucky as the power of a god begins to flow through its body, causing it to change. Lucky is surrounded by a bright light, signifying it is gaining new, powerful abilities from a god. The ArchMage watches as Lucky's evolution completes, eagerly hoping for a useful new skill to appear. And there it is! Lucky gains the legendary skill Extreme Speed, which turns its body gold and greatly boosts its attack power and speed for 5 minutes. Lucky stands tall and powerful, looking magnificent after its successful evolution and gaining a legendary new skill. Two people watch from afar as the main character, Yeonhyeon-woo, hugs a wolf, Lucky, right after coming out of a dungeon, wondering why he's acting so strangely. They even wonder if he is crying. It turns out Yeonhyeon-woo just defeated a kobold miner in an incredibly fast 9 seconds, impressing everyone with his speed. After his victory, Yeonhyeon-woo pledges his loyalty to Lucky, who then sniffs out a hidden dungeon, showing off their special bond. Excited about the hidden dungeon, Yeonhyeon-woo tells Lucky they will go together. Other players nearby think he's crazy for having such a rare creature and believe the game is all about luck. Yeonhyeon-woo and Lucky successfully enter the hidden mine dungeon, ready for whatever challenges await them inside. Meanwhile, in a fancy office, a president talks to his employee about an uploaded video of an annihilator orc and criticizes the name BJ ArchMage. The employee reports that the video's view counts are rising fast, which is a good sign for their channel. The president is surprised to learn that BJ ArchMage recorded and uploaded the Annihilator Orc video himself first, questioning if he spent his own money just to create buzz. His employee explains that even famous people can end up in gossip magazines, and sometimes, those tabloids surprisingly boost their reputation even more. The president looks thoughtful, suggesting that this situation might lead to another big move. His employee suddenly shouts, alerting him to something important. The employee shows the president a comment on their video from Asmo, asking if the item shown was a commissioned design, indicating something unusual. The president identifies Asmo as a Saudi Arabian prince with immense wealth, famous for spending $1 million to get the ArchMage class in the game. Asmo is known as the biggest spender in God Wars, collecting many assets and testing out various items and skills. He even makes videos where he tries new items just for fun, like unboxing, making it a big deal that he has never seen this item before. The president acknowledges that God Wars has many unexplored things, but emphasizes that Asmo's surprise comment, "It's real," is the most crucial part. He makes his employee think about it. Why would a busy person like Asmo casually watch their video and leave a comment, or even subscribe to their channel? The president believes Asmo is too important to waste time like that, concluding that an acquaintance must have asked Asmo to verify the item, perhaps BJ ArchMage himself. Regardless of who asked, the president realizes there's a connection between Asmo and BJ ArchMage, and he admits his initial assessment of BJ ArchMage was wrong. He decides that BJ ArchMage is a much bigger figure than he first thought and instructs his employee to send another email, changing the video profit distribution to 60/40 in BJ ArchMage's favor. His employee is shocked, worried that their company will get almost nothing with only 40% of the profit. The president confidently promises that once they offer these terms, BJ ArchMage will provide them with something new and exciting. He is sure that BJ ArchMage will bring a valuable new item, making the deal worth it. Meanwhile, young Hyunwoo, yawning, feels confident he will finish the dungeon very soon. Another player arrives late, and young Hyunwoo asks why he is so behind. The player apologizes, saying he was watching a trending video. Young Hyunwoo asks what video it was, and the player says it was the Annihilator Orc solo kill on the Rising Star channel, which he thinks will easily hit 1 million views. Young Hyunwoo is surprised by the view count, and the player adds that Asmo even commented, saying he had never seen that item before. Young Hyunwoo realizes with a shock that the item is a ragged sorcerer's staff, a unique reward from a hidden dungeon that only he attempted. He then bangs his head in frustration, realizing he messed up by letting a reward from the main scenario quest be revealed to the public. He wonders why such a huge figure like Asmo would comment, concluding someone must have reported the item to Asmo and asked for his opinion. Young Hyunwoo then understands that there is a group actively searching for the main scenario clues. He then checks his phone and sees an email from Rising Star, offering him a 60% profit share for his videos. Young Hyunwoo tells himself it's fine because no one fully understands the main scenario yet, and even if they did, they couldn't catch up to him. He decides to accept the deal. He confidently decides to show them his hand, since they have already shown theirs, indicating he's ready to reveal more about his unique abilities and items. He found himself facing a hidden dungeon boss, a scary creature called the Moldog, which was level 42. This boss had a tricky rabbit hole skill that made it harder to hit when its health was low. He thought that for a regular player, beating this boss would be super tough. The Moldog lived up to its name, constantly popping in and out of holes. Because it moved so much, it was really hard to guess where it would attack from next. But for him, it was a different story. He had a special ability to see exactly where the Moldog would appear, making the fight much easier. He aimed his bow, ready to strike. For him, fighting this monster was like playing a simple game of whack-a-mole. The Moldog peered out from a hole, unaware of the attack coming its way. He unleashed an ice arrow with full power, quickly defeating the Moldog. A message popped up confirming his victory. He successfully cleared the hidden dungeon and earned 2 special titles, Moldog Slayer and He Who Has Slain a Moldog Alone. Now it was time to pick his reward from the dungeon cards. With his pet Lucky by his side, he looked at the skill cards offered, seeing options like Chain Lightning and Prison Ball. He had to choose just one. Among the choices was also a skill called Lightning Shield. He thought about which one would be most useful. He already knew attack magic for every element, so he decided he didn't really need another one. He figured Lightning Shield would be a great pick for Lucky. Lucky gave a happy bark, agreeing with the choice. He then wondered if he should look for more buffer skills, which are skills that boost other abilities, especially for pets. Suddenly, he remembered a very useful pet skill called Haste. Lucky barked, perhaps sensing his master's thoughts. He realized that with the Haste skill, he could try out time attacks, which are challenges to clear a dungeon as fast as possible. Haste was a skill that made a wind fairy appear, which then made a person move much faster. This kind of speed boost helped a lot with both attacking and defending, making it super useful. But there was a catch. Haste was incredibly expensive. After making his decision, the game ended for the day. The game title BJ ArchMage appeared on the screen, marking the end of his session for now. He logged back into the game and sighed, thinking about the 6 million he just spent. Lucky looked up at him. Lucky barked again as the details for the Haste skill popped up, confirming it was a rare skill that summoned a fairy to boost movement speed. Even though it cost almost a whole month's living expenses, he decided it was a good investment for the future and learned the Haste skill. With Haste learned, all his preparations for the big time attack challenge were finally finished. He patted Lucky, ready for their next adventure. He checked the details of the mine taken by the miner Kabulo's dungeon. It was a normal, low-ranking dungeon for players under level 40 designed for 3 players and surprisingly had no clear reward. He knew the Dorio mines were a straightforward dungeon, like the shortest track in a race. That's why many players tried to set time attack records there. The fastest solo time for this dungeon was 4 minutes and 11 seconds, set by a legendary player named Sasaki Kijiro. Sasaki Kijiro was a Sword Emperor, a legendary rank like his own Archmage, and was even a top 10 player in the God Wars game. That record had been standing for a very long time and was considered almost impossible to beat. He knew getting close to it would be good enough for him. He started buffing Lucky, first using the strength skill on his pet, then haste to make it faster. Lucky greedily ate a concentrated black herb potion, a colorful mushroom extract potion, and a wind berry extract, boosting its strength, health, and movement speed even further. Now fully buffed and glowing, Lucky was ready. He quickly pressed the record button to capture his attempt. He greeted his viewers, announcing himself as BJ ArchMage, and declared that he would be attempting a time attack in the Dorito mines right then. He then made a big announcement. This special time attack would be attempted by Lucky alone, without his own direct involvement in fighting. Lucky barked loudly as if saying, "Woof, I'm ready," and eagerly waited for his master's command. He cheered Lucky on, telling it this was its big debut, and activated the powerful quick attack skill, making Lucky glow golden. Lucky transformed into a blur of golden light and speed, running incredibly fast with a wind fairy trailing behind it, ready to tackle the dungeon. The minor Cobbler's monsters screamed in surprise as Lucky charged through the narrow passages, too fast for them to react. With the lightning shield active, Lucky made quick work of the monsters, defeating several minor Cobbler's easily and continuing its speedy run. He watched Lucky, impressed by its good speed and steady pace, even as a monster lunged. He just stood back. He gently pushed the attacking monster away, reminding himself that he wouldn't be attacking in this dungeon. Since it was a normal dungeon, he would also pass on any loot. As expected, Lucky continued to clear the dungeon effortlessly, defeating another minor Cobbler's with a burst of golden energy. Lucky took down yet another monster, and he realized the run was going much faster than he had ever imagined. He looked up at the dungeon cleared message, which appeared upside down, and suddenly wondered if he was actually about to break the old record time. The dungeon was officially cleared. He was completely shocked, wondering how it was even possible. He checked on Lucky, who was still glowing golden, and realized that the quick attack timer hadn't even run out yet, meaning Lucky was still at peak performance. The quick attack skill was legendary. It turned the body golden and boosted attack and movement speed for 5 minutes, and Lucky still had time left on it. Meanwhile, in the real world, a colleague noticed his manager looking troubled and asked if something was bothering him. The manager sniffed the air, mentioning he smelled medicine because he had taken some Chunchim H1 for his heart. His colleague told him to take care of himself. The colleague seriously reminded him that if he fell ill, it would affect Hyrin, leaving the manager feeling burdened and frustrated. The manager's heart pounded as he saw the recording. ArchMage had actually broken the 4 minutes and 11 seconds record time, clearing the dungeon super fast. He felt ArchMage was very lucky with fewer monsters than usual in the dungeon that day. Now he wondered how their company, Rising Star, would react to this new record. His colleague pointed out that the view counts and subscriber numbers for ArchMage's channel were doing really well, and asked what was still making him worry. The manager worried about their plan to cast the reel for ArchMage and giving more income to him. He saw it as a loss for their company, but a win for ArchMage. He explained that BJ ArchMage might start to feel like he was being used, like a fish caught on a line. He was worried ArchMage would get upset, but then he saw ArchMage's reply had already come. The manager exclaimed in surprise that ArchMage had took the bait. His colleague then asked if there were 2 videos in total. The manager confirmed there were indeed 2 videos. One was the video they requested, and the other, surprisingly, seemed like a challenge or provocation from ArchMage. Jinwoo woke up and stretched, looking around the empty room. He wondered why no one was home, finding it a bit strange. He walked through the house, still seeing no one. He thought maybe everyone was gathered in the foyer or somewhere else. When he finally found everyone, they were all focused on their phones. To his surprise, they were watching a video of him, BJ ArchMage's slow kill. Jinwoo realized his new video must have been edited and uploaded, making him happy. Just then, his friend Hyukju excitedly told him that his BJ ArchMage video was trending. Jinwoo was surprised about the video trending. He asked Hyukju if Asmo, a very famous player, had commented on it again. Hyukju confirmed that Asmo indeed commented. Jinwoo couldn't believe it, still asking for confirmation. Asmo's comment appeared, asking where Jinwoo got the ring of Sahalan he recently wore, an item even Asmo didn't know about. Jinwoo was shocked, realizing the implications. He became very worried, understanding that Asmo was now keeping a close eye on him because of his unique items. This was a big problem. Jinwoo realized it wasn't just Asmo, but other players too would start questioning where he got his items. Hyukju looked concerned for him. The more Asmo watched and commented on his videos, the more attention Jinwoo would get from everyone. He felt like he was in a very risky situation. He knew it was dangerous for him to stay in one place now that he was getting so much attention. He had to move quickly. Jinwoo decided he needed to go to the Dorito mines right away and asked Hyukju to prepare for it. Hyukju, seeing his urgency, asked if he was okay and if he had eaten. Jinwoo said he was fine and just wanted something sweet. He asked Hyakju if he had any candy. Hyakju offered him some diabetic candies, saying it was all he had left. Jinwoo looked unimpressed, wondering why he still kept those shitty things. Hyakju explained that a main character from a novel he liked always ate them before solo playing, even putting them in coffee. Jinwoo then took the candies, curious. Suddenly, Jinwoo was connected to the game world, appearing in a vast, open landscape under a dramatic sky. He found himself at the Dorito Mines, a huge, open pit. Zuga, a dwarf NPC, greeted him, acknowledging his hard work. Zuga thanked Jinwoo because his help in cleaning the mines allowed him to gather enough soul metals. Jinwoo humbly replied that he couldn't refuse Zuga's request. Zuga showed him a completed necklace and told him to put it on. Jinwoo was eager to do so, thinking he should hurry to Sahalin. As Jinwoo watched, another person appeared in a flash of green light. It was a mysterious woman with long white hair. Jinwoo was surprised to see her, wondering if she was connected to Sahalin. The woman asked Zuga why he called her. Zuga explained the necklace was complete and that he called her so Jinwoo could put on the missing piece that belonged to her. The woman glared at Zuga, warning him not to do anything foolish. She held a glowing green orb in her hand. Zuga looked defiant, asking what she meant by stupid, and reminded her they had both pledged their souls. He warned her not to say anything foolish either. Jinwoo observed their exchange, realizing they were not close at all. He figured that NPCs often cooperate not out of friendship, but because they have no other choice for some important reason. He remembered that the main goal of the game God Wars was to find the Almighty Class, a very powerful item. The necklace glowed brightly in Zuga's hand. Jinwoo understood that the Almighty Class was an item capable of defeating a god. He deduced that if the NPCs had a shared goal, it must be to find this weapon to kill a god. The mysterious woman quickly snatched the necklace from Zuga. Jinwoo watched, surprised by her sudden move. She held the glowing necklace and pointed north, telling Jinwoo to take it. She wanted him to understand that the necklace pointed the way. Jinwoo accepted the necklace and immediately completed the cursed necklace quest, leveling up twice. He also gained the title Finder of Clues. A rune was given as a reward, and Jinwoo realized he had leveled up 2 times. He was then told that a war-only dragon was offering him a special opportunity. He was so excited he almost fainted but decided to save the rewards for later, wanting to clear up his quests first. He calmly thought about what to do next. He checked the cursed necklace he had just received, reading its description. It was a unique item containing fragments of a cursed existence. He saw that the necklace gave amazing stats, like plus 50 to all stats and plus 10% to speed. Jinwoo was shocked that a level 40 unique item had options much better than a legendary one. The mysterious woman told him to go to the place the necklace guided him to and find out what was there. She emphasized that he must go, no matter what. A new main scenario quest, Swamp, appeared. The quest instructed him to go north to the swamp and find what was there, promising a legendary skill card book as a reward. Jinwoo was incredibly excited about the legendary skill card book reward. He promised to do his best to fulfill the orders, trying to calm himself down before he got forcibly logged out. He took a moment to pet his loyal pet, Lucky, who was always the best for calming his racing heart. After that, he decided it was time to receive his skill card reward. The game asked if he wanted to receive the skill card reward from the War-Only Dragon's opportunity, and Jinwoo confidently chose yes. A glowing card appeared. Jinwoo watched in awe as the card revealed its name. It was the Guardian skill card, a powerful reward. He cheered loudly, filled with pure joy as the Guardian skill card appeared, with Lucky wagging his tail happily beside him. The sun had set over the city, and inside an office, an employee told his boss that he had finished editing the video. The boss, sitting at his computer, praised the employee for his good work, and the employee eagerly clicked on the file to upload it. The main character was about to start a new dungeon challenge, a time attack run, but this time, his loyal companion Lucky would be doing all the work. Lucky gave a little woof, not knowing that he had just broken the swordsman's long-standing record, proving that a single dog could achieve great things. Meanwhile, the office workers were excited about the video. The boss, smiling, wondered how many views this amazing video would get, hoping for at least 2 million. They knew a dog breaking the swordsman's record was big news. It was perfect content to get everyone talking. The employee was proud, saying it was a miracle to produce such high-quality content in just one day, especially with how quickly they had to work. The main character also thought about how many people would want to know where he got all his powerful items from when he revealed them at the end of the video. He was sure that the video would definitely hit 10 million views because of all the hype and mystery surrounding his items. He then thought about a special skill, a guardian skill, which could make a defeated monster follow his commands. This was a powerful, exclusive skill for ArchMages, allowing them to create a strong warrior guardian. The main character was surprised to think he could get such a rare skill, just like the famous Asmo. He knew the guardian skill was not used much because its conditions were very hard to meet. To get a guardian, one couldn't have a monster much higher level than themselves, and they had to defeat 100 of them in a short time. This made it nearly impossible to make strong boss monsters or large, rare creatures into guardians. However, Asmo's guardian was super famous because these guardians could wear player items, even legendary ones. Asmo had given his guardian legendary items that were extremely rare for regular players to even find. The main character decided he needed to get a guardian to act as a tank so Lucky could focus completely on doing damage. His old plan was to use his summon golem skill as a tank, but that skill was just too expensive to maintain. Now, he was ready to move on. He gave Lucky a quick pat, telling him to put on some haste and strength for full speed as they quickly moved. They zoomed through the dungeon, clearing it and exiting very fast, while someone else noticed their movement. 3 suspicious figures watched him, wondering who this person was that so much money was spent just to follow him, and why they needed 3 guys for 1 mage. One of them shrugged, saying they didn't care what their employers thought, as long as they got paid for the job. Suddenly, the main character and Lucky started running really fast, making the pursuers wonder if he had noticed them. They laughed, thinking it was silly for a mage to run so quickly, and debated whether to chase him immediately or follow more carefully. One of the pursuers suddenly had a bad feeling, realizing the situation was worse than they thought. All 3 of them then gasped, understanding that they were in big trouble as the main character sped away. "Hey, why are you so fast?" one of them yelled, as the main character left them far behind in a blur of speed. Lucky also barked excitedly as they flew past, leaving the pursuers in the dust. Despite their efforts, the 3 pursuers simply couldn't catch up to the main character and Lucky. The main character smiled, knowing his incredible speed came from the amazing powers of his cursed necklace. With this necklace, he didn't have to worry about anyone chasing him, he could just outrun them easily. He then stroked Lucky's head, telling him his debut video would be uploaded soon. Lucky barked as if asking if the main character would change his item once the video hit 10 million views, and the main character happily confirmed, saying Lucky was the best. Well then, the main character said, as he and Lucky set off for their next adventure in the swamp zone. Online, users were confused, wondering if the BJ ArchMage video was uploaded, but couldn't find it under that name. When they searched for BJ Lucky, they found the video, BJ Lucky Dorito Mine Time Attack. Comments instantly started pouring in, some excited, some negative, about the ArchMage. The video showed Lucky glowing with power, letting out a mighty howl as he cleared the dungeon, impressing everyone. The viewers were shocked to see that Lucky had broken the swordsman's record of 4 minutes and 11 seconds, amazed that a single dog achieved such a feat. More comments flooded in, humorously declaring the swordsman was now worse than a dog, and noting that BJ ArchMage just stood by, watching Lucky do all the work. People started wondering why the video was 5 minutes long if Lucky cleared it so fast, thinking there must be something more, maybe a cookie video at the end. The main character had anticipated that viewers would be curious about the items he used in his previous videos, so he had prepared some brand new items to show them. Holding up a plain-looking stick, he announced that if anyone recognized this new item, he would reveal all the items he had used until now, while Asmo had apparently sponsored the video with a lot of money. Everyone at the Hunter Capsule Cafe was really impressed, saying the latest video is super good. They were surprised the streamer actually replied to Asmo's comment from the last video, and another new item that Asmo didn't know about appeared, which means lots of views are coming. Some viewers started wondering if the streamer and Asmo were just pretending for more views, while in the background, a person named Hyunwoo began to shake quietly. Another person noticed Hyunwoo shaking and asked if he was hurt, or if he thought something was going on between the streamer and Asmo. Hyunwoo quickly made an excuse, saying his stomach hurt, but others thought he might be secretly jealous of the ArchMage streamer. Someone told Hyunwoo not to push himself too hard trying to level up his new character, adding that he probably wasn't making much money as a miner anyway, which really got Hyunwoo's attention. Hyunwoo got super annoyed by the comment, showing them he was actually making a huge amount of money from mining. He decided it was finally time to start spending his earnings to make his videos even better. He thought about buying a golem summoning skill but then remembered he already had a strong guardian, so he didn't really need another tank right now. With so many options, he felt confused, trying to decide if he should buy new buffs or powerful spells for his character. Just to see, he decided to check the price for a golem summoning skill anyway. To his surprise, he found a really cheap one and immediately tried to buy it, thinking it was a steal. Before he could, someone else bought it. He felt a bit annoyed, but then told himself he didn't really need that skill right at this moment anyway. Meanwhile, two businessmen were talking, and one observed that even though everything was going as planned, the other didn't look very happy. The unhappy businessman said things would get more difficult from now on and wondered if the other man had something on his mind. He then questioned what they had actually done for the ArchMage streamer, realizing they had only produced and uploaded videos and publicized him a bit. He worried if their contributions were special enough, especially since the ArchMage streamer was becoming a big name, creating content with Asmo. He understood they were just like a small company that could be easily replaced, so they needed to show the ArchMage streamer something truly special to keep their contract. He then declared it was time to reveal their secret weapon from Wharton's school. With a sly look, he explained that their ace in the hole was offering bribes to the streamer. The scene then changed to a vast swamp, a tough hunting ground north of Dorito mines meant for players around level 50. Many players found this place annoying because of the deep swamp and dense trees, making it difficult to move around. The water was usually ankle deep, but sometimes it went up to waist level, slowing players down a lot, making one player wish he was in the cursed forest instead. However, the good thing was that the swamp's slowing effect also worked on the monsters, making them easy targets. A large lizardman monster struggled in the water, roaring loudly but moving slowly. This slowdown effect was incredibly helpful for magic users like the ArchMage streamer, giving him a big advantage. The streamer got ready to attack, casting a powerful fireball. Spell! His fireball flew quickly and hit the monster with a bright explosion. He successfully took down the lizardman, and as a bonus, his fireball and ballista skills both got stronger. He proudly said it was easy to defeat slow monsters and even earned a new title, One-Shot Lizardman, before accidentally slipping and falling into the swamp water. He complained about his expensive new equipment getting dirty, but then quickly got some new Ragged Sorcerer's Ragged Robe and Ragged Sorcerer's Ragged Boots, which increased his damage by a lot. His loyal wolf companion whimpered a little, also getting wet in the swamp. He told his tired wolf to keep going a little longer, saying they just needed to finish this quest, and happily added that he would gladly take down even 2,000 monsters. Together, the streamer and his wolf continued their journey through the murky swamp, full of determination. They soon found a hidden entrance that looked like a dark, root-filled cave and wondered if this was the right place. Inside, a message popped up revealing it was a hidden dungeon called Lizardman's Nest and that he needed to eliminate nearly 2,000 lizardmen. He was completely shocked and frustrated by the massive number of monsters he had to defeat. Threw his hands up in frustration, realizing this dungeon was clearly made for a whole party of players, not just one person. Deciding he couldn't do this alone, he chose to get stronger and called upon his guardian, with his wolf barking in agreement. After defeating 100 lizard warriors, he now had the option to summon a lizard warrior as his very own guardian. He decided to try out his new ability and summon his guardian. He performed the summoning, and a bright, golden light flared around his hand. A powerful and muscular lizardman warrior materialized before him, ready for battle. He calmly looked at his new guardian, who stood tall and intimidating. The new guardian quickly climbed up one of the trees in the swamp, showing its impressive agility. But then, a strange question mark appeared over the guardian's head, which puzzled him since guardians weren't supposed to be like NPCs with quests. He was completely taken aback, realizing that even his powerful guardians could have hidden quests of their own. The protagonist discovered that his guardian monster has a hidden loyalty system which allows it to get stronger by protecting him for a specific time. He was quite surprised to learn about this new system for his guardian. Soon after, the guardian, a lizardman, got ready to face new monsters. It swiftly engaged in battle, striking down its foes with strong attacks. The guardian continued its powerful assault, showing its strength against the monsters. A message popped up, confirming another lizardman monster was defeated, and the protagonist noticed it usually took him over 3 minutes to beat one. He then wondered how much more powerful the guardian would become with increased loyalty, so he instructed it to only defend this time. The guardian stood ready, and a new timer started, marking the 33 minutes it needed to protect its master to gain loyalty. The protagonist watched his guardian bravely shield him from many monsters, realizing this was a special condition to unlock its hidden potential. He thought about Asmo, who believed he knew every skill, and how this unique guardian loyalty skill was something Asmo probably didn't even know existed. The protagonist felt good, realizing he was the first ArchMage to discover this secret loyalty system for guardians, as his guardian continued to protect. After 33 minutes, the guardian's loyalty grew, reaching level B, and it even gained a new attack skill, making the protagonist very happy. The guardian, now more powerful, declared its loyalty loudly, shouting for the Lord. As it fought, it moved with incredible speed, delivering fierce new attacks to its enemies. The guardian continued its relentless assault, showing off its greatly improved combat abilities. The protagonist observed that even though its loyalty only went up by 1 level, the guardian had become completely different and much stronger. The monsters were defeated even faster this time, and the guardian approached its master asking for a name and promising to perform even better. The protagonist smiled, thinking he could finally give his loyal guardian a name, and decided on Gold. He explained that the name Adamant meant strong and resolute, but also that part of it sounded like gold when some letters were removed. The guardian felt deeply honored by its new name and immediately asked its master for a new command. The guardian proudly declared it would prove itself better than the worthless animal, making the wolf bark in surprise, and the protagonist realized its ability to talk had also improved. As the wolf growled in response, the guardian kept taunting it, making the protagonist wonder if this new skill was even better than he had initially thought. He quickly corrected himself, realizing it wasn't just a good skill, but a legendary one, which made him pause and think. He pondered if a powerful damage dealer should be used as a tank, but then decided a team with 3 strong attackers wasn't a bad idea, as the guardian eagerly awaited its next command. He wished he had a golem summoning skill, believing it could help him defeat 2,000 monsters in just 5 hours. But then he remembered that he still needed to buy that very important golem skill. Suddenly, the scene shifted, and in the real world, a little girl named Hyrin was waking up her uncle. Hyrin gently patted his head, telling him to eat, but he mumbled about being tired from sleeping late. She warned him that his dad would be upset if he didn't get up, and he quickly agreed. His phone rang loudly, startling him, and he grumbled about receiving such an early morning call. He looked at his phone screen and saw a message. Someone named Sir Rising Star had gifted him a golem summoning skill card. He quickly rushed out, telling Hyrin he was in a hurry. He promised Hyrin that dinner would be chicken before he left. Meanwhile, in a dark, serious room, a mysterious person with a knowing smile seemed to understand something important. A powerful woman was discussing with a man if they should send an assassin to target BJ ArchMage, especially since a recent video made her think he had gained something important. She wondered if BJ ArchMage had found a clue about a special item, one even Asmo didn't know about. The man, however, felt unsure if they could find the item's origin just from a single victory. She clarified that collecting the item wasn't necessary. They just needed to confirm if BJ ArchMage knew anything about the game's main story, adding that they had nothing to lose. The man agreed, but questioned who would be willing to take on BJ ArchMage in a player kill request so quickly. He mentioned that players already knew their guild spent a lot of money, and rumors even connected them to Asmo. He doubted anyone would risk facing BJ ArchMage, but then he saw an offer of a $1,000 deposit. He then saw the huge reward for success was $10,000, and immediately knew just the right person who would take on such a dangerous task for that amount. The woman suggested Sniper Lola from the 7-Star Love Federation, confirming that she had players skilled enough for the mission. The man agreed to send the request and update her on the responses, while the woman told him to make sure to add a specific detail to the message. The request, it turned out, was from Emma, the manager of the Abyss Guild, who looked very confident as she planned her next move. The hero was super excited as he got a brand new skill called Golem Summoning. This golem summoning skill lets him call golems from the ground, and their power and size grow as the skill gets better. He was happy to get such a special skill. He was even more thrilled because this unique skill came from the famous Rising Star channel. He quickly bowed down, thanking his boss's pet wolf, Lucky, who barked in agreement, and thought he needed to do something amazing to keep the Rising Star channel interested in sponsoring him. He decided he had to show something extraordinary, something nobody would expect, like defeating the big boss monster of the swamp, the jeweled alligator, all by himself. But just killing it wasn't enough. He needed to defeat it as fast as possible, proving he was better than anyone else. First, he had to prepare. He entered the hidden lizardman nest, ready to fight the many lizardmen there. With a strong punch, he easily defeated one of the lizardmen. His golem and pet wolf worked together, taking down more lizardmen, showing their combined strength. He defeated another lizardman, leaving only one more to go in the nest. Thanks to his secret quest, His abilities were increasing super quickly, especially his strength, which was really good for someone who usually uses magic. He also used his dragon's ice heal. His summon friends kept the bad guys busy, so he could calmly aim and throw his fireballs without worrying about getting attacked. Then launched a powerful fireball that could hit enemies even 100 meters away, showing off his amazing long-range attack. The fireball exploded, hitting and defeating another lizardman with great force. He had defeated all the lizardmen and earned a cool new title, the Nightmare of Lizardmen. His fireball skill also leveled up, and now he felt completely ready to take on the jeweled alligator by himself. He celebrated with his wolf, Lucky, feeling happy that he finished the lizardman nest quest in just 8 hours, all thanks to his golems. Lucky seemed to be bickering with the golem about who got the prey, but the hero just smiled, thinking they were fighting again. Suddenly, his cursed necklace started glowing. The cursed necklace was guiding him to a special place, hinting at a new adventure. The necklace led him and his companions deeper into the mysterious swamp. They arrived at a strange, ancient staircase leading up from the water, making him wonder what awaited them at the top. At the top, he found a mysterious egg on a pedestal. It was a dragon egg, and it needed the power of a nameless god to hatch. He was shocked to find a real dragon egg. Wondered if this meant a completely new kind of mythical dragon creature was about to appear. For now, he decided to finish his current quest, especially since the reward was a legendary skill card book. Holding the glowing dragon egg carefully, he decided to head back to the city of Weiger. As he walked on the wooden path, an archer hiding in the trees watched him, thinking he finally came. The archer knew that everyone eventually returns to the city from the hunting grounds, and to get back to Weiger, the hero had to walk right through this path where the archer was waiting. The archer noticed the hero's pet and golem, thinking, a beast and a guardian. As he grinned, ready for the ambush, he knew the hero was a valuable target, worth $100,000, and he held his legendary bow of Wega. This special bow, made with great care, had an ability to make arrows follow the target if the first attack hit. The archer took a deep breath, preparing to shoot. The archer swiftly drew his bow, determined to finish the job quickly. Suddenly, the hero's wolf, Lucky, sensed danger and barked a warning. An arrow flew through the air, aimed at the hero, but his golem quickly stepped in the way. The golem blocked the arrow with its shield. The hero knew an attack was coming. Normally, an unexpected attack would surprise a player, but the hero had been waiting for an assassin. He had deliberately created an opening, making it seem like he was vulnerable, just to make the assassin attack. He told his golem, "Gold, go forth." The archer was probably underestimating him because of the swampy ground. The hero smirked, ready to show the archer that the terrain wouldn't give him any advantage. The archer was shocked that his sneak attack was blocked, as if the hero knew it would happen. He sighed, realizing his tracking ability was now reset. He looked around the marsh, knowing it would take at least 30 seconds for anyone to get close to him. The archer figured the hero couldn't reach him from 120 meters, even with magic, but then he saw something coming. Suddenly, a fiery attack shot through the air, hitting the archer head-on. He cried out in pain, realizing he had been hit exactly on the head and took a lethal blow. He looked around in a daze, wondering how the hero had managed to attack him without being seen. Had he hidden himself? He quickly decided he needed to retreat before the situation got even worse. But as he tried to escape, a growling sound came from the dense bushes. Suddenly, the hero's wolf attacked him from nowhere, dealing another lethal blow and dropping his health below 20%. The archer was utterly confused, wondering who this guy was, as his damage was far more than his actual level should allow. The wolf let out a fierce roar, ready to strike again. The wolf pounced, sinking its teeth into the archer, making sure he couldn't escape. The hero smiled, happy to have caught him. Now he wanted to check the archer's identity to make sure he wouldn't cause trouble again. As the wolf held the archer down, the hero looked at his screen, surprised by the name. The archer's ID popped up, Rail A13. The hero was stunned. He realized that Rail was actually a sub-character of Sniper Lola, a famous player from the 7 Stars Alliance. The hero worried that if he pushed this too far, it could turn into a big problem with the powerful 7 Stars Alliance. The main character suddenly sees someone and is shocked, calling out the name Rail. He recognizes this player as part of the 7 Stars Alliance. He quickly realizes the person is Sniper Lola, a strong player from the 7 Stars Alliance, remembering how they used to hunt monsters together on her old game account. He wonders why Lola, who only became famous through a big guild, would need to use a secret alt account just to find him. He starts to panic, thinking he can't be blamed if anything bad happens to her character in the game. Lola's wolf pet and another guardian approach, making him realize he might make a powerful guild his enemy, so he quickly tells his own wolf, Lucky, to stop. Lucky whimpers, and Lola's guardian with a sword steps forward, praising its master and threatening to fight. The main character tells that guardian to stop as well. He decides he needs a plan, so he confronts Lola directly, asking if she is indeed Sniper Lola from the Seven Stars Alliance. Lola tries to act innocent, but the main character isn't fooled, saying he knows this is her secret alt account. Then, he reveals he knows her alt account's character name is Rail, which makes Lola gasp in surprise. He watches her shocked face, feeling annoyed that hiding his own identity from his guild master is causing all this trouble. Lola is surprised, wondering if this guy really knows her guild master, especially since he called him drunkard. The story shows Dione, the guild master of the Seven Stars Alliance, a very dangerous player that most people wouldn't dare to go near. Players who are close to Dione call him drunkard, confirming what Lola heard. She is upset that he followed her with a different account just to capture her. She angrily asks if her brother told him to capture her and if he really has nothing important to do for the next 80 hours. Lola starts to worry, thinking they must be very close. Then she suspects he might be secretly taking money from the guild to do PK part-time, which is against guild rules. She knows doing PK part-time is strictly forbidden by her guild. She demands an answer, realizing she is in deep trouble if he tells her guild. Lola, now very scared, apologizes and bows down to him. The main character asks her what she wants him to do. She knows that if her part-time player killing gets out, she'll face serious punishment from her guild. She briefly thinks about killing him to keep her secret, but quickly decides against it, worrying it would cause bigger problems later. He then offers to cover for her. Lola is completely surprised. The main character explains that he also doesn't want the Seven Stars Alliance to find out what he's doing. He asks her why she thinks he hid his main account and used a silly alt account name like BJ ArchMage if he didn't have a big plan. He tells her to simply pretend that she failed to catch him and he managed to escape. He promises not to tell anyone they met today. Lola is relieved to be spared. He then asks what she will give him in return for saving her from trouble. He warns her clearly that if she tries to mess with him, things will get bloody. He repeats his demand. What will she give him for keeping her secret? He also adds that if she doesn't agree, he can just kill her and take her items. Lola quickly gives in, asking him to give her an order. She then cautiously asks if he will truly keep her secret. He assures her that he is a man of his word, while his companions stand by. Lola seems to be deep in thought. Lola then offers him a glowing blue bow as her offering. He accepts her apology, and their tense meeting comes to an end. Lola's companion praises their master's great kindness, while the main character feels pleased that his clever talk worked. Lola's companion bows to the main character, calling him master, showing how well the main character's bluff worked. The main character is happy that his bragging paid off, as his wolf and other companion are ready to protect him. He feels lucky it was the Seven Stars Alliance because he had heard rumors about their guild master, Dione, which helped him convince Lola he knew him well. Anyway, he's glad he got a valuable item from the Weiger set, the bow Lola gave him. The bow, called Weiger's bow, is one of the best weapons from the city of Weiger, known for its top performance and worth at least $40,000. He thinks about selling it for a lot of money, but then remembers he doesn't really need cash right now. So he decides to try using the bow for a while, even though mages almost never use bows. But Weiger's bow is special. He can even shoot a fireball from it. This bow has a cool guidance skill. If the first shot hits, all the following shots will automatically hit the target too. He realizes he can't hold both his cane and the bow at the same time, making it hard to switch. So, he tries using telekinesis to help. With telekinesis, he can easily pull his Sahelin's cane or the bow from his inventory and switch weapons quickly. He continues to practice, trying to make weapon switching less difficult with his telekinesis. He feels very lucky. The scene changes, showing a grand castle, and people talk about the mythical wolf who amazingly broke the swordsman's record all by himself. It truly is lucky. The wolf standing next to that record breaker is none other than BJ ArchMage's companion. People in the city are excited, saying it's their first time seeing the famous BJ ArchMage in real life. But then they wonder who all those soldiers are standing around BJ ArchMage. Someone spots the main character being escorted by soldiers and wonders if he's a party member, but then realizes they are NPC soldiers. It's quite strange to see the city ruler, Wiga's, soldiers escorting a player. The main character, Midas, thinks about how odd it is that Wiga, the city's ruler, is looking for him. He wonders if this unexpected meeting is part of the game's main story quest. Miz decides to take advantage of this special situation, knowing he's likely the only player ever escorted by Wiga's own soldiers. He can already imagine all the exciting rumors that will spread about him in the game. He then stands before Wiga's grand mansion, ready to step inside and see what awaits him. As he steps through the grand doors, a system message confirms he has entered Wiga's mansion. Wiga himself, the ruler of the city, greets him. Wiga introduces himself as the city's ruler, and Midas looks a bit surprised, taking in the important figure. Midas gets a new title, invited by Wiga, and a special rune as a reward. He thinks about how Wiga had heard a lot about him, feeling amazed to finally meet the ruler in person. A woman named Sahalan asks if he successfully got the item, and Midas confidently opens his inventory to show them. He then pulls out a mysterious, glowing egg. Sahalan is clearly surprised that he truly brought it, and she receives a legendary skill card book in return. Just as Midas is about to hand over the glowing egg, Wiga stops him. Wiga then calmly asks if there is any problem with the exchange. Sahalan says there's no problem and asks Wiga why he's getting involved. Wiga surprisingly responds that he's getting involved because there's no problem. Wiga points out that Midas, known as Midas, easily found something they struggled with. Sahalan agrees, and Wiga stresses that it's better to let a skilled person like Midas continue the work. Wiga then tells Midas he thinks highly of his skills and wants him to keep researching the mysterious egg. Midas thanks him for the compliment. Midas quickly understands the situation. Sahalan wanted to research the egg herself, but Wiga specifically wants Midas to take it on. He realizes that even the game's NPCs have their own plans and goals, just like players. Midas promises Wiga that he won't disappoint him. Wiga likes his answer but explains that Sahalan doesn't trust him completely. To prove he can protect the egg, Midas is given a test. He must kill the ruler of the marsh. A new main quest pops up, called Bejeweled Crocodile, with a task to kill the ruler of the marsh. Midas quickly figures out that the ruler is this Bejeweled Crocodile. Midas thinks that since the raid plan is already prepared, it should be an easy mission. He sees the reward, Wiga's white staff, if he kills it alone, and wonders if white staff is a special hidden requirement. He repeats Wiga's white staff excitedly, understanding its value. Wiga asks if he's ready for the task, and Midas confidently replies that he can handle it. Midas, looking super excited alongside his companions, is then told by Wiga that there's one more thing before he leaves. A system message pops up, showing he's opened a legendary skill card book. As he looks through the skill cards, Midas desperately wishes for a skill that gives him mana recovery. He finds a legendary skill called Draconic Mana, which boosts mana recovery especially in places with draconic energy. Midas is super excited, calling it an amazing decision and an amazing game. His wolf companion makes a sound like wow, making Midas wonder if it's not quite wow. The wolf barks again, and Midas's eyes land on another legendary skill card, Draconic Overheat. Midas is completely shocked, realizing this is the legendary skill, Draconic Overheat, famous for being worth $1 million. This skill, also known as Draconic Fever Time or Draconic Overheat, has never been officially traded online. Its famous nickname actually came from a legendary player named Asmo. Asmo had offered a whopping $1 million to anyone who could get him this skill. After that, Draconic Overheat became Asmo's signature skill, especially for ArchMage players. This skill is considered one of the very best, powerful and quick, designed perfectly for big boss fights. He knows this skill needs a huge amount of mana, and he couldn't buy it even if he sold his whole house. Midas is absolutely certain that this is the skill he needs. Midas learns Draconic Overheat, and he can't help but cheer loudly in pure excitement. Meanwhile, two other players are talking, with one asking if the other knows what kind of quest BJ ArchMage, which is Midas, is doing. One player excitedly says that Midas is planning to take over the city and become its new ruler. Midas, overhearing this, just smiles, thinking about the rumors. Midas actually prefers people spreading such rumors about him. Another player asks to be set up for the game, but Midas worries about those who don't just talk, but actually try to act on their thoughts. He knows that unusual forces have been watching him, and he expects that this solo raid against the Bejeweled Crocodile won't go smoothly. Midas realizes there's only one way he can handle this upcoming challenge. He sits down in his gaming chair, preparing himself for whatever comes next. Two men are talking about BJ ArchMage. One asks the other if he is being taken advantage of, especially after sending BJ ArchMage 2 magic skills, including the Golem skill. The first man tells him it's BJ ArchMage. The second man is still puzzled and asks what there is to deny about it. The first man explains that there's a small difference between investing in someone and being taken advantage of. He thinks BJ ArchMage is a big catch, but he probably wouldn't care much about small gifts like those. The first man believes ArchMage is looking for something big. Since he was last seen in the swamp, he probably wants to defeat the boss there. His colleague thinks ArchMage will just send video clips like before, but the first man corrects him. He is sure the next video will be a live stream because ArchMage has enough fans now. Just then, an email arrives from ArchMage, asking if he can live stream from their channel. The first man excitedly asks what school his colleague attended, then quickly orders him to prepare the live stream. The colleague quickly replies Wharton School and rushes off to get things ready for the live stream. Meanwhile, ArchMage thinks about the expensive fire arrow and wind arrow skills he received for free. ArchMage realizes that the Rising Star channel is now supporting him as their main streamer. He then thinks it might be time to prepare for that, a big live stream event. Ever since the game God Wars came out, live streaming has been the most popular way to watch game content, with many people gathering to watch it on big screens. In the early days, a lot of problems happened during live streams because snipers would attack players and ruin the show. Because of this, important boss raids were usually done without streaming. However, some top gaming guilds decided to fight back against the snipers. They would catch them and publicly defeat them in front of tens of thousands of viewers as a clear warning. Here, a fallen sniper lies on the ground, surrounded by many players, showing what happens to those who try to ruin streams. Now, in the swamp, ArchMage notices that some players have been following him. He sees many other players too, all trying to attack him. He knows he has to deal with them. ArchMage decides that if they try to target him, he will show them they won't gain anything from it. A digital clock appears, counting down the time until the bejeweled crocodile boss appears, showing 20 minutes and 13 seconds left. In God Wars, all videos can only be shown on WarsTube. Most players did not mind this rule. This wasn't because everyone loved the game so much, but mainly because it was super easy to broadcast on WarsTube. You just had to type in your stream key. ArchMage enters his stream key, and it works perfectly. WarsTube and God Wars are so well connected that he can start streaming with just one touch, and he has successfully accessed the Rising Star channel. Suddenly, the live chat pops up, showing 3 viewers, himself, a moderator, and 1 more person. He wonders who the third viewer could be. The third viewer is Wharton, who tells ArchMage to focus on his game, as Wharton will handle everything else. Wharton then reveals he is the CEO of the Rising Star channel. ArchMage is very surprised to learn it's the CEO himself. Wharton tells him to start the live stream whenever he's ready, and ArchMage thanks him, preparing to begin the broadcast with his companions. He gets ready to start the live stream and a countdown begins on his screen starting from 9. As the countdown continues from 5, ArchMage stands with his golem and wolf companion. He remembers having a video that once reached 1 million views. He also remembers having a lot of problems with that popular video. He would be happy if just 1,000 viewers watched this live stream. As the countdown reaches 1, the stream officially starts and the chat immediately fills with excited messages. Viewers welcome him, praise his guardian, and ask if it's the new golem skill he recently got. ArchMage is surprised that he quickly passed 1,000 viewers. He then straightens his face, reminding himself to stay in character for his first stream, and introduces himself as ArchMage. Viewers in the chat ask to see Lucky, his adorable wolf companion. ArchMage happily announces that he is streaming on the Rising Star channel and plans to defeat the bejeweled crocodile today. He says that just beating the boss won't be exciting enough. Standing confidently with his companions, he declares that he will try to beat the current record for a party of 4, which is 10 minutes and 32 seconds. The chat quickly fills with comments. Some are impressed by his bold claim, while others talk about trying to snipe him or form groups to stop him from breaking the record. More messages appear in the chat, with some players talking about how many snipers are likely around and others saying they want to show why the game is bad. ArchMage remains composed. He introduces the bejeweled crocodile, a level 58 boss that rules the swamp. It is over 10 meters long and has shining jewels on its back, earning it the nickname Stoplight. The boss is called Stoplight because the color of its jewels changes, showing different stages of the fight. The current orange color means it's the safest stage right now. Viewers in the chat explain that when the crocodile's health drops to 30%, it enters its second phase, and the jewel's color changes every minute. The hardest part is when the jewel turns black, activating its swamp dive skill. When the swamp dive skill is active, the crocodile cannot be hurt and it also regains health. ArchMage explains that the usual way to beat it is by attacking hard when the jewel's color changes at the right time. Suddenly, the crocodile's jewel turns red, showing that the attack phase has begun, and BJ ArchMage gets ready for battle. The enormous bejeweled crocodile opens its jaws, preparing to fight. In the chat, viewers excitedly tell BJ ArchMage to start attacking. BJ ArchMage, with a confident smile, declares, "Now, we start the main event," and unleashes a powerful skill called Draconic Overheat, surrounded by intense fiery energy. Looks like the mission failed for someone named Lola. It was a clear, sunny day, but the news was not so bright for those watching. A woman asked, "Really?" She then explained that she was just trying to check someone out, implying a test or observation. Another person was surprised and then suggested it might be Asmo who is sponsoring the target. They decided not to push too hard or Asmo might step in. The woman sighed, saying she tried hard to get that special request. The man then asked her what she planned to do next after this setback. She looked determined, saying she had no choice but to use all her other resources, like stray dogs. She had also put a reward on someone called BJ ArchMage, promising money to anyone who could catch him. She mentioned that catching him would get them $10,000. Even if they couldn't catch him, just tracking his movements would help control what he does. Suddenly, a phone rang loudly, interrupting their conversation. The woman wondered if it was an important alert. It turns out BJ ArchMage's live stream had just started, which seemed to be the important news. She smiled, possibly with a new plan forming. On the live stream, viewers were talking about the skills BJ ArchMage was using, like Dragon Overheat and Draconic Overheat. They wondered if it was the same skill Asmo uses. More comments flooded in, surprised by Million Flames and then Weiger's bow, a powerful weapon shown in the game. Someone noticed it was strange to see a mage using a bow, and BJ ArchMage fired a fire arrow attack. Then, a message popped up saying Dragon's Eye is activated. Viewers were amazed, asking how much he paid for such a powerful skill. BJ ArchMage was seen in action, skillfully firing arrows that looked like streaks of light, hitting a large, tough-looking crocodile. The powerful attacks seemed to be targeting a bright red jewel on the crocodile, a clear weak point. Another fiery arrow struck the crocodile with a strong impact, causing a burst of orange light. He continued his attack, firing an ice arrow and then activating ballista, which would allow him to launch more powerful shots. Next, he used a wind arrow, showing his range of elemental attacks as the air swirled around his hand. He quickly followed up with an enlightening arrow and then a fireball, showing he could use both archery and magic. He even used an enlightening spear as well. The crocodile was being hit by multiple elemental attacks at once, with fire and wind swirling around it. Viewers wondered if the wind damage was cancelled out too fast. The bejeweled crocodile roared in pain, its tough skin taking a beating. Viewers were concerned, asking if there was any way to stop his rapid mana drain from Draconic Overheat. The crocodile struggled, its large body moving awkwardly as it tried to fend off the continuous attacks. The giant crocodile was clearly struggling against BJ ArchMage's relentless assault, taking more hits. BJ ArchMage explained that normally, a player would save their mana and use it carefully as the boss changes phases. But since there was no other enemy around except the bejeweled crocodile, he felt there was no need to hold back. Meanwhile, the PK group watched, wondering if it was even possible for one person to deal so much damage alone. They questioned his strategy. One of them asked why he was using so much wind damage. Another person realized they had missed their chance to attack him as planned. The group panicked, asking if they should wait until his Draconic Overheat skill ran out before attacking. Suddenly, one of them shouted, "Wait!" They started to suspect that the reason he was using so much mana from the start was that he might have secret bodyguards hidden among the other players. Then, something surprising happened. The color of the crocodile's jewels changed. This meant the boss fight was progressing much faster than expected. The crocodile's jewels had turned completely black, indicating a major phase change. Everyone was shocked, realizing it had only been 1 minute since the battle began. The PK group was in disbelief that the boss was already in its second phase. They worried about how this would affect their plans and decided to wait until the second half of the second phase. They realized that if they acted too quickly, they would surely be defeated by his powerful bodyguard, so caution was necessary. One of BJ ArchMage's summoned creatures, a strong guardian, attacked the crocodile with a fierce yell, turning it into a lump of flesh for the master. The guardian fought bravely, deflecting an attack with its shield. Viewers praised Lucky, the guardian, for doing a great job. The white wolf-like guardian attacked the crocodile with a powerful blue energy blast, causing it to scream in pain. Viewers debated if it was still considered a solo kill. Some viewers thought the main tank's performance was a bit weak, but others argued it didn't matter because the damage dealers were so amazing. DJ ArchMage then activated Dragon's Eye again. Viewers wondered if he could easily set a new record with such damage, but others doubted it, thinking he would run out of mana. DJ ArchMage just smiled confidently. He observed that the crocodile's health was down to 23%, and it would enter the third phase if it dropped another 3%. He also noticed that the other players, like a wolf pack, were just watching him, scared to interfere. Online, viewers were asking where the player killer's PKs had gone, wondering if they ran away from the fight. DJ ArchMage knew the PKs were actually waiting for the perfect moment to strike. He knew they would wait until all his powerful skills were on cooldown, making him vulnerable. He predicted his mana would be at its lowest point when the crocodile's health was almost at 20%. He smiled, estimating that he could finish the fight in just 7 minutes if he really wanted to. A viewer commented that anyone could do it if they had as much money as DJ ArchMage. He, however, felt that finishing it too fast, in just 7 minutes, would make him seem heartless. Viewers were confused, asking him to just finish it quickly. That's why he decided to take his time, activating a skill called Long Toss to prolong the fight. He fired another powerful blue energy arrow that struck the crocodile, pushing it back. He declared that a 10-minute record would be perfectly fine, indicating he was purposely slowing down. Viewers were surprised by his decision, some finding it deceitful, but others jokingly shedding tears of gratitude for him not making the record too unbeatable. Everyone wondered where the PK players were hiding, completely unaware that DJ ArchMage was intentionally stretching the fight to 10 minutes. The PK group members were confused, wondering why he was still using so much mana and what his actual plan was. DJ ArchMage explained that if he set an unbelievable record, the game wouldn't be fun for other players anymore, and he wanted everyone to enjoy it. He then shared his thoughts, saying that in this game, if there was anyone who could make more money than him, there was only one person. Just as he finished his thought, he fired a new, massive lightning attack from his bow, hinting at the powerful individual he was thinking of. Suddenly, a notification popped up. Mr. Asmo donated $1,000. This was the same Asmo they were talking about earlier. A huge, bright golden lightning strike, clearly from Asmo, landed on the battlefield, adding to the ongoing chaos. The powerful golden lightning struck the crocodile directly, revealing that it was indeed Asmo interfering, just as the PK group had feared. Someone named Asmo gave a big donation, and people in the chat noticed he came online very quickly. Some viewers thought it was strange, wondering if Asmo and the streamer knew each other. The main character seemed surprised, like he didn't expect Asmo to actually join the stream. He thought about adjusting the camera to welcome this important new visitor. He decided to zoom in for the viewers, showing a massive, bejeweled crocodile in the water. People watching asked if he was too close to the dangerous monster and wondered what kind of player he was. The giant crocodile attacked with fierce, glowing eyes, and its special jewels started changing colors much faster. This meant the powerful beast had now entered its third, more dangerous phase. The crocodile opened its huge mouth, showing sharp teeth as it moved to attack. A viewer quickly pointed out that their golem, a summoned helper, was about to be defeated. The golem took a direct hit from the crocodile, making a big splash as it was pushed back. The massive crocodile moved closer, preparing for another strong attack. It struck hard again, making a powerful impact that sent water flying everywhere. The golem, now just a pile of clay, was completely defeated. People in the chat discussed that if DJ ArchMage's strategy was correct, the crocodile could be taken down with just one more big hit. The main character looked at his destroyed golem, thinking he had done his best, but it was still a tough fight. His magical energy, called mana, was now very low. With a knowing smile, he thought to himself that everything was actually going exactly as he had planned from the start. His main goal was to stop other players from attacking him. He wanted to set things up so that other players couldn't fight him. Meanwhile, some other players were thinking if they should attack him now that his golem was gone, but they decided it was too dangerous to do so near the powerful crocodile. The other players were worried, remembering how strong the crocodile's attack was that just killed the golem. They felt like the game was over for the streamer. The bejeweled crocodile let out a loud roar, showing it was still very much alive and a major threat. People in the chat were asking where Lucky, the streamer's wolf companion, was during all this. Soon, Lucky appeared, running quickly towards the action. Lucky, showing great courage, stepped forward, ready to risk its life against the huge crocodile. Viewers explained that this was a special skill to pull the monster's attention away from the main character. The crocodile's attention, called aggro, shifted to Lucky. Viewers were amazed and commented on Lucky's brave actions. The massive crocodile launched a powerful attack on Lucky, but the main character watched with a small, knowing smile. The main character then activated a powerful skill called Draconic Overheat. A viewer in the chat wondered if he had been pretending to struggle all along. With Draconic Overheat now active, his magic casting speed became much faster. He quickly prepared to fire a powerful fire arrow. He activated another skill, Ballista, which meant Draconic Overheat would need time to cool down. He then rapidly shot both a fire arrow and a wind arrow. He didn't stop, unleashing a fire spear and a lightning bolt in quick succession. Viewers were amazed by his incredible attack power. The crocodile was hit hard by the attacks and covered in flames. Some viewers wondered if it was just an easy target now. Lucky quickly moved out of the way of the crocodile's attack, and the main character prepared yet another fire arrow. He concentrated intensely, his eyes glowing with power as he gathered his strength for a final, decisive strike. With incredible speed, he launched a blazing, curving attack that hit the crocodile right in the body. The crocodile finally fell, looking like it was completely defeated. Viewers asked if it was truly dead, but then it twitched slightly, showing it was still alive. After a last struggle, the bejeweled crocodile was finally defeated. A message popped up, confirming the creature's defeat. Many special messages appeared, congratulating him on getting titles like Bejeweled Crocodile Hunter and Lone Bejeweled Crocodile Hunter. He also completed quest conditions, met hidden quest requirements, and even leveled up. He thought about how his viewers would react, and saw that over 30,000 people were watching. Many praised his brilliant skills, saying he was serious about the game and not just messing around. More money kept coming in from donations, with even Mr. BJ ArchMage #1 fan sending some support. He smiled, remembering how he told everyone he'd finish the hunt in 10 minutes, but he actually did it in only 7, just like he planned. He chuckled, proud of how well he managed everything. Suddenly, another huge donation, $10,000, came in from Mr. Asmo, which seemed to genuinely surprise the streamer. The chat started buzzing with viewers connecting the dots, realizing that the streamer might have planned this whole thing with Asmo from the very start. The player killers PKS felt foolish, realizing they had been completely outsmarted by BJ ArchMage. They now believed he and Asmo were close friends who had worked together to keep an eye on them. One player commented that they thought BJ ArchMage was just rich, but he was also very smart. They decided it was best to leave before they got caught and embarrassed. The main character announced that he was ending the raid for the day, but his viewers begged him to continue. Lucky stood happily by his side, its tail wagging. He quickly remembered he almost forgot to thank Asmo, the president, and thought about how to make a good impression. He then announced that he would be streaming again later on the Rising Star channel and asked everyone to subscribe. Turned to Lucky and said, "Okay, Lucky." Closing comment. And a wolf seemed to nod in agreement. The main character and Lucky stood side by side, both looking very pleased with how the broadcast went. In an office, people celebrated excitedly as the live viewer count reached an amazing 45,323. Everyone was thrilled, praising the incredible success, the massive donations, and how everything went better than expected. Someone then asked about the president. Back in the game, the main character told Lucky that he would be broadcasting again later, specifically on the Rising Star channel. An executive, looking at the broadcast summary, questioned if the mention of Rising Star channel at the end was just a simple formality. But another executive explained that it was not just a formality, it was a strong message. It meant that all future broadcasts would only be on their Rising Star channel. This smart move meant that other channels trying to get him would stop bothering them and just leave. The executive thought it was a brilliant strategy. The team talked about creating a good relationship with BJ ArchMage, where both sides would benefit. They then wondered if BJ ArchMage would keep this relationship going if they only focused on quick profits. The executive smiled, as if he knew there was something deeper to BJ ArchMage's plan than just simple profits. People were excitedly talking about BJ ArchMage, who just did an amazing solo raid on a giant crocodile. Someone mentioned that even a big boss called Asmo came and gave a lot of money as a donation. They continued to praise BJ ArchMage, noting that he finished the hunt in just 7 minutes and 1 second, setting a new record. While some thought the money helped him, everyone still felt it was an impressive achievement they couldn't ignore. They all agreed that BJ ArchMage was special because he didn't just use money, he also showed off his great showmanship. This made him different from other players. Suddenly, news spread like wildfire that BJ ArchMage had been spotted in the city of Weiger. Everyone was surprised and curious. Many people gathered, excited to see BJ ArchMage in person for the very first time. They wondered why he had come to Weiger's mansion, and some even wished to pet his fluffy companion, Lucky. BJ ArchMage felt a bit nervous but also relieved that his plans were going smoothly. He thought about how one small mistake on his way could have ruined everything, including his broadcasts. He even imagined a scary monster trying to mess things up, highlighting how much pressure he felt to keep his broadcast perfect. He knew his reputation depended on it. Seeing the huge crowd, ArchMage decided to greet them and thank everyone for watching his broadcast that day. He wanted to acknowledge their support. He then announced that, even though many channels had offered him deals, he would only broadcast and upload videos through the Rising Star channel for now. He wanted to make his commitment clear. Some people in the crowd wondered why he chose only one channel, especially since they didn't seem interested in that kind of exclusive deal. However, it was a strategic move by the ArchMage. ArchMage knew the crowd didn't come just to hear about his channel choice. His earlier words were just a polite way to greet the company. He had a bigger announcement planned. He believed that by showing respect to Rising Star channel, the president would surely like him. There was no harm in expressing his admiration, even if it seemed simple. After that, ArchMage decided to share something even more interesting with the crowd. He was about to reveal the special reward he would be receiving very soon. With a confident smile, ArchMage announced that his reward was going to be Weiger's white cane. The crowd gasped, anticipating what it could be. People in the crowd looked confused, murmuring if he had mispronounced Weiger's cane instead. They weren't familiar with this white cane. Someone explained that the regular Weiger's cane was a super expensive and rare legendary item, part of a famous weapon set, which most mages could only dream of. It cost over $30,000. ArchMage clarified that the item he was getting, Weiger's white cane, was completely new and had never been seen before in the game God Wars. This would be its first public appearance. The crowd was astonished by this news, and ArchMage declared he would demonstrate the item's power and features live through the Rising Star channel. Everyone wanted to see this legendary debut. The scene then zoomed out, showing the grand architecture of Weiger's mansion. The sky was clear, emphasizing the bright day. Elsewhere, two people were chatting, and one asked if the other knew a person named Jakey who went to Wharton School. The woman confirmed that she knew Park Young-jun from Rising Star channel and that he used to be her colleague at Wharton School. She had a long history with him. She was then asked to share more details about him, as they needed to get information about ArchMage, and approaching Rising Star was their only option. The man thought for a moment and said he didn't think that approach would work easily, sensing something unique about Park Young-jun. The woman explained that Park Young-jun was very different during his time at Wharton School. He was especially good at spotting people's hidden talents. She highlighted his unique skill by mentioning that he sponsored the ArchMage even before he became widely popular, proving his talent for recognizing potential. She warned that if they approached him without a clear plan, he wouldn't tell them anything. Still, she was sure that the ArchMage held important clues about the game's scenario. The main challenge, she realized, was figuring out how to get that information from the ArchMage. She worried that a young player, unaware of the scenario's true value, might misuse it. Back inside the mansion, ArchMage stood proudly, holding his staff, while his phone buzzed with a call from someone named Merlin. The woman on the other side, Merlin, answered the call, confirming that they were just talking about the situation. She suggested they should meet in person very soon to discuss everything more thoroughly, indicating the seriousness of their conversation. Meanwhile, a distinguished-looking man complimented ArchMage, saying he heard about his accomplishments and that he did a great job. However, ArchMage quickly denied it, saying, "No, that's not true," which surprised the older man. The man was confused, asking why catching the swamp monster alone wasn't a big deal, especially since ArchMage had met some secret conditions. He still thought it was impressive. ArchMage then looked around, realizing that Sahalan was nowhere to be seen. He wondered where she had gone. The man explained that Miss Sahalan had left everything to him and gone home, leaving ArchMage to wonder what he should do next. The man then offered to give him something special. The man, who was the city's ruler, proudly announced that he had a gift for ArchMage. He extended his hand, ready to present it. He stated that it was only right to reward someone who works so hard for the city's well-being, and ArchMage looked incredibly excited. The ruler then expressed his gratitude on behalf of all the citizens of Weiger, making ArchMage feel appreciated. The ruler then revealed the legendary item, a magnificent Weiger's cane, which was truly a sight to behold. ArchMage already knew that the cane's abilities would be powerful. It was, after all, a legendary item crafted with great care by Weiger himself, produced in very small numbers. The ruler presented the Weiger's white cane to him, telling him to take it. The cane glowed faintly as it was offered, but ArchMage looked confused, glancing at the seemingly plain cane. He quietly wondered if it was really just a simple cane after all the build-up. Midas was surprised when Weiger suddenly threw something towards him, expecting it to be the special white cane, but it seemed like it wasn't the legendary item he was waiting for. Weiger, looking a bit confused, wondered if he had made a mistake, especially since he had boasted about showing a special item to everyone. He then chuckled, asking Midas if he really liked the first gift that much. Midas quickly put on a brave face, saying he liked it a lot, but Weiger then revealed the truth. He had prepared an even more special gift for him. With a dramatic flourish, Weiger finally presented the true legendary item, the Weiger's white cane, which Midas eagerly accepted. The cane's details popped up, showing it was a legendary item requiring level 45 or above, with high attack, intelligence, and spell damage, plus a significant boost to magic attacks. Midas focused on one unique detail. After equipping, the number of spells you can cast simultaneously +1. He was amazed, as this was the first time he ever seen such an option on any item at his current level. Weiger explained that he used the cane when he was a child and was now giving it to Midas, showing how much he valued him. Upon receiving the cane, Midas got a new title, a person who got Weiger's attention. Weiger then used this opportunity to ask Midas if he would be willing to hear his request. Midas, filled with loyalty, immediately agreed to do anything for Weiger, receiving a new main quest. He quickly decided to check the quest details later, eager to re-examine the +1 spellcast option on his new cane. He confirmed that the option was real and not an illusion, realizing its true power was how it could combine with his existing skills. Midas figured out that if he combined this new option with his already existing double casting skill, he would now be able to achieve triple casting, making him much stronger. He knew that such a high-level casting option was typically found on items for players around level 150, making it incredibly lucky that he got it before even reaching level 50. Midas excitedly thought his next video would easily get 1 million followers because of this. Suddenly, a notification sound chimed, and Midas looked down to see that both Lucky, his wolf, and Golo, his lizardman companion, had received new quests. The new location for their quests was revealed: Forest of Giants. The Forest of Giants was a dense forest filled with huge trees, known as the most difficult hunting ground near Weiger City. It was also called the Graduation Forest because completing quests here meant moving on to the next major location. Midas explained that after this quest, they would leave Weiger City for the Kingdom of Tung using warp magic, and once they warped, it would be difficult to return. This system prevented high-level players from dominating lower-level areas. He emphasized the need to be fully prepared before leaving Weiger, feeling glad that both Lucky and Golo had received their quests before they used the warp. Lucky's quest involved hunting monsters for evolution and new abilities, while Golo's task was to defeat 5,000 Tigar monsters to raise loyalty and combat ability. Midas was shocked by the massive number of monsters Golo needed to hunt. He learned that Tigar was the boss monster of the Forest of Giants, a medium-sized creature, 3-4 meters tall, that could camouflage itself perfectly as a normal tree. Midas worried that since the population of these medium-sized monsters was small, it would take an extremely long time to catch 5,000 of them. He also remembered his planned livestream about Weiger's white cane, realizing he had a lot of work ahead, but decided to focus on the main quest first as they ventured deeper into the forest. Midas checked the main quest details. He needed to find Tamaru in the huge forest, and the reward would be a rare skill card book, allowing them to continue to the wild forest quests. They spotted a quest item high up on a tree, and a party member wondered how they would get it, knowing how hard it was to climb. Midas confidently stated that's precisely why they had an archer, and the archer quickly aimed and fired an arrow at the item. The arrow hit its mark, making the item fall, but then the tree itself started to shake violently and transform. To everyone's shock, the tree was actually a camouflaged Tigar, which roared as the archer screamed, realizing it wasn't just a tree. The Tigar lunged, and the party's tank stepped in to block the attack, grumbling about the difficulties of his role. Midas sarcastically told the tank to just buy a character card and switch to a damage dealer, telling him to stop complaining or leave, clearly showing his frustration with the difficult Forest of Giants. Midas smirked, knowing his hidden information ability was a cheat, allowing him to easily spot which trees were camouflaged Tigars, unlike his struggling party. His companions jokingly said the monsters seemed afraid of him today. Midas, seeing something important, told his team to avoid the ordinary monsters, as he could see the main quest location ahead and instructed them to stop. An elf woman, Tamaru, emerged, acknowledging Midas by name and introducing herself. She mentioned she had already heard about him and then asked if Sir Weiger was truly as talented as rumored. Midas humbly replied that he wasn't that talented, but Tamaru insisted that his ability was sufficient, given that he reached this deep part of the forest without being hurt by the numerous camouflage tigars. Tamaru then presented him with Sarwiger's gift, a rare scale card book, and Midas excitedly planned to pick a powerful attack magic card, like an unconditional attack. He considered choosing a fire magic card without much thought, but Tamaru then told him to follow her, which caught Midas off guard. As Midas followed Tamaru, a system message appeared, indicating that he was now walking on the path of the elf and was isolated from the surrounding area. A new special title, The One Who Walked the Path of the Elf, was earned by the character. He was quite surprised to get such a high-level title in this simple area. This rare title gave him a boost of plus 15 to his intelligence stat. Enjoying the perks of such rewards, he then asked the elf if she knew anything about tigars, wondering if they were just tree-like monsters. The elf clarified that tigars are not monsters in tree form, but actual trees that have been twisted and transformed into monsters by a strange, unknown power. These corrupted trees looked menacing and full of dark energy. She further explained that even more dangerous variant tigars had started to appear lately. These variants were splintered monsters, splitting into multiple smaller forms. The large Tigar monster was seen splitting apart into several smaller, more aggressive-looking tree creatures. The character had never witnessed such a strange and concerning transformation before. Luckily, this weird problem with Tigars was happening only in a few spots. The character realized this must be why the quest was called the Wild Forest, linking it to the mysterious power of the nameless god. Tamaru asked the elf how many times these mutated Tigars could split. She told him that one had even split into more than 10 smaller monsters. She mentioned that while they get smaller with each split, dealing with them is still a lot of trouble. The elf urged him to take care of the problem quickly before even more of these mutated Tigars popped up. The elf explained that they had sealed off an inner part of the forest where over 500 mutated Tigars were hiding. His quest was to clear out every single one of them. The quest popped up, asking him to eliminate all mutated Tigars in the wild forest. He quickly did the math. 500 Tigars, each splitting into 10, meant he had to deal with 5,000 monsters, which his loyal companions excitedly agreed to help with. Meanwhile, in the city, an assistant updated CEO Park, saying he had bought 3 specific skills. He also shared a rumor that the Big Abyss Guild was looking into BJ ArchMage's past. CEO Park looked surprised to hear about the Abyss Guild's sudden interest in BJ ArchMage. He wondered why such a powerful guild would be investigating him. The assistant felt that BJ ArchMage was a more important figure than they had initially believed. Suddenly, someone called out Mr. CEO Park greeted Jackie on the phone, who seemed to be departing from the company. After the call, he turned to his assistant and asked exactly what BJ ArchMage was known for. The assistant secretly thought that Jackie might have joined the Abyss Guild, explaining why they were now watching BJ ArchMage. He believed BJ ArchMage's actions were far beyond those of other players. He told CEO Park that BJ ArchMage, despite not being in any top guild, was a huge topic of discussion. However, he couldn't share any more private details and quickly ended the call. CEO Park understood that a huge guild like Abyss wouldn't try to contact BJ ArchMage directly. He figured his company must be the only indirect way to get in touch with him. He realized BJ ArchMage likely had no interest in joining any of the top guilds. A flashback showed BJ ArchMage as a powerful mage, commanding attention, which cemented CEO Park's determination. With a cunning smile, CEO Park said he couldn't let such an important person slip away. His plan was to send an email to BJ ArchMage. His plan involved offering BJ ArchMage a 1-year contract for all his videos and live streams, with a very favorable 9-to-1 profit split. Back at the Capsule Cafe, Hyuk-ju looked very hungry. Tamaru noticed this and kindly offered to buy him something to eat. Hyuk-ju's face lit up, and he eagerly asked if he could pick something expensive, to which Tamaru happily agreed, showing him a menu on his phone. Hyuk-ju thought about how much a Chinese restaurant could cost, but Tamaru suddenly got an important call on his phone. Tamaru quickly apologized to Hyuk-ju, explaining that his employer had called, and he needed to log into the game right away. He then asked Hyuk-ju to set up a capsule for him. Hyuk-ju wondered about Tamaru's demanding employer. Once logged into the game, Tamaru sighed, seeing he had received the same skills as before. The skills were Lightning Ball, Ice Spear, and Ice Ball. He understood that the email, along with these skills, was a way to pressure him into publicly revealing the legendary item, Weiger's White Cane. Feeling he had no other option, he decided to give in to the demand and started a live stream, showing a countdown. He then revealed Weiger's white cane, an item that had never been seen in the game before. As the countdown reached 0, the stream was about to begin. He announced that he would use the legendary cane to hunt a monster also never before seen in the world of God Wars. The livestream officially started on the Rising Star channel, and the chat immediately exploded with excited viewers welcoming BJ ArchMage. Many demanded to see his pets, Lucky and Gold, while others eagerly questioned the legendary cane. BJ ArchMage greeted his viewers, standing alongside his loyal companions, Lucky and Gold. Viewers quickly recognized the staff he held as Weiger's white cane and asked if it was indeed the legendary weapon. He raised the cane, promising to fulfill his word and show its power. As the chat filled with demands for its attributes and acquisition method, he announced he had brought a special monster to demonstrate the item. Suddenly, a huge Tigar monster appeared. Viewers joked about Lucky riding it like a toy, while some commented that Rapone, another companion, seemed much smarter. Then, the Tigar monster started to change, glowing with a strange purple aura and splitting apart. The viewers in the chat were shocked, wondering what new phenomenon they were witnessing. The chat exploded as viewers realized the Tigar had splintered, a new type of monster appearing in a low-level zone. BJ ArchMage then told everyone he wouldn't be able to read the chat because he'd be focused on casting spells. He began to unleash his power, conjuring a blazing fireball in one hand, followed by a frosty ice ball in the other. With fire and ice magic ready in each hand, he prepared to launch a massive lightning ball, signaling he was about to begin an intense battle. The main character, ArchMage, surprised his viewers by casting 3 powerful skills all at once during his livestream. People in the chat wondered how he could triple cast at such a high level, guessing it might be his special white cane. ArchMage then announced that the verification of his new weapon's powers was complete. He cheekily asked if there was anything left to explain, hinting he might end the stream since he was done revealing the weapon. Viewers immediately protested, begging him not to end the live stream. They asked him to show some monster hunting, even donating money to make him continue and perform more. With a confident smile, ArchMage agreed, saying, "Nice." He then prepared to hunt a new monster for his audience, gripping his spear. As he unleashed a fiery attack, another viewer donated more money, showing how much people enjoyed his stream. The intense flames engulfed a monster. ArchMage quickly eliminated a splintered Tigar monster, standing amidst its defeated forms and his companions, the wolf Lucky and a lizard-like warrior. He then quickly warned his companions to guys. But as a massive, glowing red tree-like monster emerged from the ground, the giant tree monster attacked, and ArchMage's wolf companion, Lucky, barked a warning. The monster continued to sprout thorny branches. The monster split into multiple parts, and ArchMage prepared to launch a wind arrow. Viewers in the chat excitedly asked for the map location where these unique monsters appeared. He followed up his wind arrow with an ice arrow and an ice spear, showcasing his ability to use various elemental attacks simultaneously. Viewers in the chat were amazed by his ability to cast 3 skills at once. ArchMage easily defeated another splintered Tigar monster with a powerful icy blast. More donations flowed in, with one person even donating a large sum for his quadruple casting abilities. After the intense battle, he thought about the profit distribution from his streams, which was an amazing 9-to-1 in his favor. This meant he got almost all the income, and a message from his agency encouraged him to work hard on your live streams. He continued to fiercely attack more enemies with fire magic. Having defeated several more splintered Tigar monsters, ArchMage mused that he should properly thank the president for such a good deal. Suddenly, he announced that today's live stream was ending. Viewers were shocked, asking already, and demanding show us more. One viewer even offered more money to keep him streaming. ArchMage explained that continuously hunting the same monsters would get boring for the viewers. He decided to wrap up the stream there, promising to show more hunting videos on the Rising Star channel. He then reminded everyone not to forget to thank the president before the live stream ended. Message flashed, leaving his companions beside him. The screen simply confirmed, live stream ended. Back at the agency, an employee told his boss to send ArchMage a message, praising his excellent performance on the live stream. The president, smiling confidently, asked if the employee had predicted ArchMage would do such a live stream today, with a new weapon and monster. He revealed that he offered ArchMage the favorable 9-to-1 income split because he had envisioned this kind of success ever since the Abyss Guild showed interest in him. The president believed they finally had a real talent with the potential to become a brilliant star. However, he wondered why ArchMage ended the live stream so early. His employee explained that ArchMage ended the stream because Asmo didn't show up. The employee clarified that since Asmo, who would spice things up, was absent, there was no need to prolong the stream. Now, they just had to pull themselves together and edit the footage. A symbolic image showed ArchMage and another figure, their magic intertwining, representing their new shared journey. It was clear that for the next 1 year, they would be sharing their joy and sorrow with BJ ArchMage as part of their contract. Meanwhile, ArchMage's livestream caused a huge stir with over 40,000 viewers, a massive number despite his short streaming time. A large monster with a sword attacked. Chat comments showed people regretting he ended so early, believing many more would have watched if he continued for even 10-30 minutes more. Another swift attack landed on a monster, and online, BJ ArchMage was now trending in conversation topics. Viewers were not only amazed by the number of viewers but also shocked by the content itself, wondering if ArchMage knew the game's developers. Lucky, the wolf, attacked a monster fiercely. They questioned how he had access to so much brand new information, like new monsters and items. Lucky was knocked back by a powerful blow. A beefy monster snarled, calling Lucky a wicked dog. In the chat, everyone agreed that one thing was very clear about ArchMage. BJ ArchMage was undertaking a quest that no one had ever attempted alone before. He prepared to use both an ice spear and a fire spear. He then unleashed a powerful ice spear and a fireball simultaneously, demonstrating his unique and overwhelming magical abilities. He wondered if rival players had reacted to his sudden fame yet. With him suddenly becoming a trending topic, even the top 10 guilds must be nervous, and more player killers were being sent his way. ArchMage quickly eliminated another splintered T-Gar monster, realizing he never purposely planned to become a trending topic. He originally never planned on playing the game so seriously or becoming famous. He just wanted to play comfortably. He looked a bit troubled by the sudden attention. His fiery lizard-like guardian fiercely battled enemies, roaring as flames engulfed it. The guardian's loyalty rose to rank 7, and it was now time to choose a new ability for it while a tree monster watched from a distance. ArchMage commanded Lucky, his wolf companion, to focus on the battle. After Lucky had just knocked down a monster, Lucky barked a cheerful "Yes, Master." As the lizard guardian stood ready for action, ArchMage healed Lucky, encouraging him with a nice, "Go Lucky." As the wolf happily barked, Lucky then unleashed a powerful lightning bolt attack, striking down a monster with a flash of electricity. Lucky successfully eliminated another splintered T-Gar. Inside Lucky, a mysterious mythical power began to boil and stir. Lucky's body started to change and transform, surrounded by a bright, fiery aura as he held toward the sky. ArchMage also leveled up, achieving level 50, and gained a special title for reaching this level unexpectedly fast. He felt a sense of accomplishment. Suddenly, a magnificent, war-only dragon appeared, presenting ArchMage with an entirely new opportunity. A magnificent golden dragon appeared, offering powerful new abilities from a glowing skill book. The hero felt excited, opening 3 special cards at once, and decided to start with the golden one for his guardian. He smiled, happy that his guardian was chosen first, and prepared to pick a powerful new capability for him. As the hero watched, his guardian grew even bigger and stronger, surprising him with the amazing change. The hero was amazed, thinking how good his guardian's luck was for getting such powerful cards. A legendary card appeared, granting the incredible giantization skill, which makes the user's body huge and boosts their power. The hero realized this giantization skill was very rare and usually only found among top-level tanks, making his guardian truly special. He smirked, knowing that not only giantization but also the hidden loyalty and skill system for guardians were unique insights only he possessed. He realized that this secret information about guardian skills, if revealed, would make his broadcasts explode with views. Suddenly, his wolf companion, Lucky, barked eagerly, ready for his own turn to get a new skill. The hero smiled at Lucky, telling him it was his turn to choose new capabilities. After confirming, a glowing grid of choices appeared for Lucky, making the hero gasp in anticipation. A legendary skill called War Howling appeared, also known as Cheers of War, which makes a legendary beast cheer and boosts all allies' stats. This powerful War Howling skill was first used in a huge guild battle in God Wars, giving a big boost to all friends in a party. It was first shown by Rappo from the Immortal Guild, who had his own legendary beast named Smarty. The moment Rappo's beast used the War Howling skill, the battlefield glowed with power. With this skill, the Immortal Guild quickly won the big battle, showing its overwhelming power. Lucky successfully gained the amazing Cheers of War skill, and the hero felt optimistic, hoping for a legendary card for himself too. He cheered for getting 3 legendary cards in a row as the Dragon of War offered him another opportunity. A new opportunity appeared, asking if he wanted to use it to get another skill card. However, the hero sighed, realizing he was the only one unlucky and likely wouldn't get a legendary card. He picked a card, which revealed a unique grade skill called Fire Step, allowing him to burn the path as he moves. The hero considered the Fire Step skill, noting it wasn't bad, as it could burn anything he stepped on. This skill meant that if a monster or another player ambushed him, it would damage the attacker, but it also used up a lot of his mana. He realized the skill essentially burned mana, not just the ground, and he couldn't use it now because he was still trying to recover his mana. The hero knew he really needed a mana recovery skill, and he was ready to spend money at auctions to get one. Just then, Tamaru, the elf, appeared, likely because the quest to exterminate the mutated Tigars was over. Tamaru praised the hero for wiping out all the mutated Tigars, and the hero humbly replied that it wasn't that amazing. Tamaru offered the hero a reward for his hard work, a unique skill card book. The hero, holding the card book, told himself not to expect too much, even though he could see its contents. He knew that while he could see the types of cards, the actual skill he'd get from the unique skill card book was still random, which made him feel a bit despairing. He opened the unique skill card book, and bright red energy burst out as new skill cards appeared. To his shock, a unique skill called Mana Recovery Field appeared, which reduces mana consumption as long as he stands still. This was the most efficient skill for him, meaning he could now cast many attack skills without worrying about mana, as long as he stayed still. Feeling super confident with his new skill, the hero declared he would destroy everything at once, ready for whatever came next. Tamaru then told him that while he was fighting monsters, he had looked around and found something strange. Tamaru explained that Viltree, a massive tree, had mysteriously changed into a monster because of some unknown power. The hero knew Viltree was an enormous, symbolic tree in the forest, and he couldn't believe he was being asked to capture such a huge monster. He was shocked, thinking he was only level 50 and couldn't possibly capture such a giant monster, but Tamaru clarified he needed to take care of the mutated Viltigar. A new main story quest appeared, making the hero look even more surprised. The quest was titled Viltigar, hinting at the new monstrous tree. The quest details showed it was a main scenario quest for level 70 or below, requiring him to destroy Viltigar with a legendary skill card as a reward. The quest also mentioned a chance for an egg upon completion, and the hero knew from experience that this kind of challenge was never easy. He acknowledged that he would never be able to handle such a massive monster alone if he didn't have his cheat grade abilities. He realized that a monster as huge as Viltigar would normally need a party of at least 10 people to defeat. And not just any 10 people, but 10 pro-level players, making this challenge much harder than any boss raid he'd faced before. He wondered if his new mana recovery field skill would reduce his mana worries, allowing him to cast powerful skills comparable to a whole party. Despite his new skill, he concluded that he would still need many mana recovery potions and a lot of money to buy them for this difficult fight. The main character was walking at night, thinking he had been spending too much money. He worried his budget for game preparations was quite low. He wondered if taking loans for game items was a bad idea, but knew he couldn't keep delaying his live broadcast. He decided to level up first, and then his phone suddenly got a notification. He checked his phone and saw a statement of settlement from the Rising Star channel. He quickly remembered that today was settlement day. He saw the amount, $25,912. And was completely surprised by how much he had earned. This big money changed his whole plan. Feeling happy, he thought it would be nice to send a thank you email to Rising Star, but then he wondered if a simple thank you was too boring. While thinking about his reply, he accidentally bumped into a woman on the street, causing both of them to stumble and drop their things. The woman let out a surprised cry as she fell to the ground, clearly in pain from the unexpected collision. His phone also tumbled nearby. He quickly apologized, realizing he wasn't looking where he was going. The woman sat up, rubbing her elbow and looking a bit dazed. He asked if she was hurt, but she seemed shy and embarrassed, quickly saying she was fine. Both looked at their dropped items. She saw her cap, and he saw his smartphone. They both went to pick them up. As they reached down at the same time, their hands accidentally touched, adding to their awkwardness. The woman quickly grabbed her cap and put it on, while he picked up his phone, relieved to see the screen was okay. He thought she was a bit strange. He then worried if she had seen the thank you email still open on his phone. Meanwhile, the story shifted to a different character, BJ ArchMage. A woman named Lee Seol introduced herself, explaining she mostly stayed home due to social anxiety and hadn't made eye contact with anyone in real life for a long time. She spent all her time playing games, but for her, the game God Wars felt very real and different. In God Wars, she was known as Muse and was highly respected in the Abyss Guild, finding this virtual world her second reality. As Muse, she appeared in a bright, ornate room within the game, an alert confirming her return. She asked her assistant, Merlin, about the next raid schedule. Merlin replied that Emma had sent a message for the guild members, telling them to keep a close eye on BJ ArchMage. Merlin further explained that Emma considered BJ ArchMage a dangerous person who could threaten the guild's very existence. Muse confirmed she had seen BJ ArchMage's video clips before and agreed to remember the warning. She wondered if he was truly so dangerous, but then decided it likely had nothing to do with her. Back in office, a CEO and his team were very happy looking at the settlement figures. The CEO noted the huge profit, especially from one particular player, calling it a first. One employee excitedly suggested they celebrate with a company dinner at a new Korean chicken restaurant, which surprised the CEO, but he agreed it sounded good. Just then, a notification came in. The CEO was informed that BJ ArchMage had replied to their settlement email with a simple thank you. The CEO dismissed the nothing special comment, saying these words from BJ ArchMage were extremely important, especially since he had rare items and hunted monsters no one else had seen. He emphasized that what BJ ArchMage said to them was a very big deal and would not be on a small scale. The CEO immediately called for the video production team, telling everyone that the company dinner would have to wait. His employees looked disappointed. As a result, the office lights were on late into the night, showing the team working overtime due to BJ ArchMage's influence. Online, people were buzzing about BJ ArchMage uploading another video, discussing if it was shot in front of Weiger's mansion or featured new monsters and weapons. Some questioned Rising Star's video quality. The video showed a new item called Weiger's White Cane, and viewers praised the video's high quality, saying it felt like watching a movie. A staff member was shocked to see it had a +1 casting skill option, wondering how incredibly expensive such an item would be if sold. Another person was confused, as they thought the video was supposed to be released next week. They wondered if BJ ArchMage was pushing them to reveal their own plans immediately. BJ ArchMage himself thought about how a raid would cost him 20 million won in potions, equating to a massive amount of fried chicken. Then, a new comment caught his eye. A famous player named Asmo had commented, saying he missed the last stream and demanded BJ ArchMage turn on his broadcast right away, promising to make it worth his while. Everyone got excited. Asmo is here. Asmo urgent comment, demanding a broadcast and offering money, made BJ ArchMage panic. He immediately yelled for Hyuk Ju to set up the capsule, preparing to go live.